guys. Not sure if we're on the air yet. Let's check it out. I think we are. It's Father Time. Let me see if I can see the YouTube. Come on in here. Bear with me. Bear with me. Aha. I think we're on the air, guys. Yes, got the chat up and running. Let's go over here. Let's do a little P3D action. But I do believe I'm going to have to watch it like this. And let me see. Hold on. And there we go. Okay. I think we're good. Let me put this little screen a little lower. And I'm looking up there, and I am seeing nothing on here that indicates. There we go. There's a delay that I have to get used to. Say, hey guys, Father Time. No one's monitoring us yet on chat, I don't think. But have an 8 a.m. kickoff, and here we are. We'll see if anyone shows up. But let me make sure. I'm going to take a look at my over here. Yep, can't really see. Sure hoping we're up on the air, guys. If anyone's on chat and you can see me, let me know. It's Father Time here. We should be streaming. At least that's what my OBS studio says. If you haven't ever been with me before, you'll be aware, as many of the guys will tell you, that I am new to this whole streaming world. So here we go. We are at John F. Kennedy International Airport. They want us to close our entry door. I am going to fly from Kennedy to Miami for Logan. My guy Logan has asked me to do this. Taking off on runway 22. They want me to close this door. I'll do that. I think I'm going to close the jet bridge door as well. And I'll start doing some things here, doing some magic. So, yeah. So welcome, guys. Got a little Active Sky going, got a little YouTube going, streaming. My intention here is, as I mentioned, to fly from John F. Kennedy International Airport, where apparently we are the only aircraft on the airport. Should make it easy. If you go to VATSPY, right now there are no controllers open at either Miami or JFK. A little disappointed. I'm hoping by the time we do our pre-flight, we get them up and running. If you go across the pond, let's fly across the pond. Look at this. Look at this stuff. You got Heathrow departures. You got a couple of guys going. Manchester, for whatever reason, is always fully staffed, as usually is Gatwick or Heathrow. That's what we'll do on our next live stream. But this one's for Logan. It's a Sunday morning. I just got back from my son's wedding in Nashville. Very emotional event, very beautiful, and I'm just so happy for him. I'm a happy dad today. Okay, here we go. Let's go inside the airplane and get this thing programmed. No idea if anybody's listening. Let me get rid of lower VATSPY. Hey, Fly Sky. Somebody's here. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, if you wouldn't mind. Trying to build a subscribership. We're small, but we are passionate. Great group of guys and girls. So here I am. Got it loaded up in a sim brief, so I'm going to do a route request and get started. Reese boy, congratulations to you and your son. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, had to give a speech. I got to admit, you know, this stuff, okay, I'm a little nervous when I do this for you guys. It's only my second live stream. I had to say a speech in front of them. They kept it small, around 50 or 60 people. But you know, anytime you're talking about your kids, it's pretty emotional. Managed to get through it. I did not cry, which was my goal. I'm going to load up this flight plan. Let me get this up here so everyone can see what I'm doing. I appreciate all your help, guys. I just started streaming just a few months ago, and having a great time. I don't know if anyone listening knows my story. I know, you know, Reese Boy does, but 36 years with the airline, 7 years with the Air Force. We're just going to go perf accept. Got the fuel already loaded up, and yeah, win, win, win. It's not going to let me talk. Is it loaded up? Load up the wins. I retire in September after 36 years. As I mentioned, with the airlines, I fly 777 out of Kennedy. I know this is kind of weak doing my home base in my home base airplane, but with no VATSIM and controllers online to boot. But my boy Logan, one of my additional loyal followers, has helped me out a lot. Asked me to do this, and I'm going to do it. To be honest with you, it's a lot less pressure than going over to Gatwick or I got Benchy, who's my moderator on Discord. The guy's helped me a lot. They recommended going to Germany. I'm afraid. I'm afraid I'll get in trouble over there. So let's take a look. So as you know, the flight plan doesn't load the SIDS. So let's go JFK-5 on 22, which 22 right, which is runway heading to 5,000 feet. That's in there. Let's go down to Miami, and they've got us doing the Bluefish arrival. We'll see what they're on over there. Localizer 26 right. We'll talk about the arrival when we get down there. Transition. Let me take a look at what the transition would be. Roads. Okay, let's take a look at that. Index. Miami. Yeah, I think they're going to be on 1-2. Let's do this. ILS 1-2. Bluefish. And let's just see if I roads. Let's go back here, see what the transition would be. Oh, Hogue. It's Hogue. Okay. Don't know where Captain Marvel got roads, but I guess I did. Apologize dragging you through this part, but guys like to see me do it from this point forward. Okay, so what we would do together, obviously, we checked the database when we got here. We are 777-200, got GE and the GEs. Positioning it, well, actually, it's GE, so we start one at a time. Miami and route. We go through together, check this. So let's go through it. JFK to Miami, runway 22 right. I'm going to copy the route. JFK-5, which is runway heading up to 5,000. And 810 is the engine out acceleration. Wavy MJ Yazoo Q177. So we check this against the flight plan. Then we go to legs. We come up here, put the mode selector into plan, because what we have to do is step through the legs manually. We would check this against the SID. If you look down here in the box, making sure there's no discontinuities, we go all the way in and we actually open our JEP JD or Navigraph, whatever you have, and walk through the arrival with the crossing altitudes. We have plenty of time to do that. And then we always go to NavRad, make sure we're not manually tuned. If we were manually tuned, let's go 112.4. You see this, and sometimes that stays in there. 112.4. I don't know what that is, but it stays in there from the previous flight, so you want to make sure that you do not have a manual tune, which would compromise your navigational capability. Well, the truth is, the GPS would do just fine without it. With a hard tune, it would ignore it, but it wouldn't allow it to cross-tune as one of your backups. So that's NavRad. We got that, and we always check the distance. 1011 versus our flight plan. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Why not, right? SimBrief, flight plan, and total distance on here. If you view the PDF, where be it? This is our closeout right here. So you already have that. Total distance all the way down. And where is it listed on this thing, guys? These flight plans, one I'm not really familiar with. Anyway, Normally on what we use, which is flight keys, the distance is on the top. Oh, there it is, 1022, and we have, I believe it was 1011. That's all. It's just reasonableness. That's all you're looking for. All right, so that's that. We go init. I go to route. Make sure we have runway 22 right in there. Init. We're going to go flaps 5 on a 200. Our CG's around 25. Activate our points. 154 is going to go in the window. That's V2. And we always go to second page. NADP2, which is USA, 1,000-foot engine out. Engine out normally is 800. Fix that. And I set that 810 as my engine out altitude. There's no engine out procedure on this runway, which you'd always want to review. Excel altitude, 1,000, thrust reduction at 1,000. In Europe, we changed this to, as you know, Excel height like this. Thrust reduction 1,500. That'd be NADP 1, and the altimeters would be 1013 instead of 2992 or whatever it is. I do have active sky. I'm new to that. The altimeter is 3010. It's matching the field elevation, so one of the guys recommended that I do that, so I did. Thrust reduction 1,000. I'll accelerate it 1,000, 1,500. Okay, get up there. Okay, let's put this away. Let's see. And we're going to go VNAV, LNAV. The only reason I'm going to go LNAV, even though we're flying runway heading, is because the heading is 224 on the LNAV. So we're going to end up in LNAV, so I'm going to leave it in that. But I do match up runway heading and 5,000. I'm going to go to sign on now to vPilot. I opened it up in administrative mode. Let me connect up here. Let me bring this over for us, guys. Connect. And we are no longer UPS. This is for you, Logan. I try to go incognito normally, as you know. But we're going total exposure. I'm currently flying for these guys, so it's really not something I should be doing. Hopefully I won't be saying UPS 400, which is normally the call sign I've been using. Anyway, right now, as you can see, we're connected, and there is nothing going on at Kennedy. A little disappointed about that, but so we'll just be doing Unicom on taxi out. Let's just move this off to the side. But I'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully something will come back on here shortly. Let me see something here, guys. That a little better. Kind of had some funky stuff going on the thing. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty new to all this stuff, so you're going to have to bear with me as I flail around. So that's what I'm looking at. That's good. Good. Yeah, my guys have been kind of working with me on all this stuff and getting me as far as they can possibly get me, which isn't very far, right, guys? But anyway, here we go. I'm a big checklist guy, right? So let's run with the checklist that they... Oh. They just crashed our sim. That is very disappointing. The hazards of doing a live stream. Loading scenery. So we get to do this over. So while it's loading up, let's talk about this weekend. Not that, right? Let's get out of here and exit prepare 3D. Yeah, not too happy about that. Not too happy about that. Let's get started and go back in here, minimize all this, minimize all that, it's Navigraph. Come back up here, and I'm going to start. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Start over. So I'm going to start Prepare 3D. I'm going to start also in Administrator, and I'm also going to go vPilot, open that up in Administrator. like that. Okay. All right, so we'll get back set up. So yeah, I flew down to Nashville on Wednesday, and had to give a speech at my son's wedding. It was an honor. We had a little rehearsal dinner on Thursday night, um, and then gave my speech, and then relaxed after that. So let me go 200 ER, my Boeing. Looks like that's a LR. I'm going to go 300 ER, just because I want to do it with the engines that I'm familiar with. Change the airport. I go KJFK. It's probably fun. If you guys don't know how to do this, I'm sure you do. Um, we'll go through it. Yeah, this is one of those hazards of live streaming. It's kind of why I don't like doing it. Can't see what you guys are saying if you're saying anything now, guys, by the way. And get that going. Let me take a look. Yeah, we're still up and running. Okay, cool. Still streaming through all this ridiculousness. Yeah, I've been having a lot of success with my P3D. Now, the real problem is I've got to go up and restart this bad boy from scratch. I did not want to take you through the initial power up because it's rather time consuming, you know. But anyway, we'll assume we did the fire test. Let me start the APU. So I had it all initialized when you guys showed up. Anyway, let's do this. Sorry, guys. Take a look outside. Go fly around a little bit. Yeah, it's a 777-300. American Airlines colors at a very empty airport. So I crashed into some object, evidently. Kind of hard to do when you're sitting there stationary at the gate, but I guess it's possible. Hopefully that doesn't happen again here as we go forward. Let's hope we have a better time as we move forward here. Let me get YouTube up in the background so I can see y'all. Aha! I know, Benchy. I forgot to stream now. So we do have company here. Got my guy Benchy. Hayden, hello. Hi, buddy. Cajun 45, loving your content. My new favorite play. Thank you, buddy. The neon sign is a nice addition. Thank you. Yeah, hi, Benchy. Benchy's been doing my Discord stuff. I had it all ready to go. Cold dark state. All right. Was it you that crashed my sim and is going to make me do that? Do you dive? Do you dive? No, my ex-wife wished I did. Can you check Discord for me real quick? Now, buddy, I am in over my head, my friend. I want to see the power up from cold dark. Okay, I'm doing it. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, Benji, I think you did this to me, buddy. All right, so Benji's responsible for my sim crashing. Now we know that. All right. Just kidding, my friend. Yeah, Benji's been doing Discord, guys. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be great. But he and I are trying to do Discord. Got to be honest. I'm just getting my arms around even what it is. I'm going to just put active sky. There we go. That's good enough, like that. But we're trying to get it up and running, get some guys over there, and maybe we'll run some live streams on Discord. It's basically going to be a place that we can chat and exchange ideas. Let me go outside and see if the APU is starting. I wanted to spare you the cold dark. Sounds like it's starting, doesn't it? It's kind of private, isn't it? Let's get out of there. All right. Should we bring over a little jet bridge action? Let's do that. GSX, new to this, new to pretty much everything. Operate the jetways. Gateway, yes, confirm. We'll get a little jetway going on there. Park brakes, the APU is starting. Cold dark, Benji, you wanted it. Okay, so anyway, come in the cockpit. I'll do that. Check the circuit breakers. We got the life preservers behind the seat. Come back here. We check the portable breathing equipment. Make sure the humidity indicator is good. This is the halon fire extinguisher for cockpit fire. God forbid in the green band. We go up here and check our slides. Make sure that we have our ropes. Our windows are both closed on both sides. Come in here, we go down the center console. Benchy, you wanted the cold dark? Here you go, buddy. Few levers are off, throttles are down, flaps are up, speed brake are down. Believe it or not, we check up here, we check the wipers are in the off position. We don't scratch the windshield. That's before we put the power on, which I already did. Adaru's aligning now. We got to wait 10 minutes. We come up here and we establish initial power, which is check the put the battery switch on, check the fire, and then start the APU, which you've already done. And after that, we come down to the FMS and wait for it to power up. So let me do this stuff while I'm waiting. I'm going to fuel us up. Our fuel is supposed to be 47.9, 47.8, 47.8 through the miracle of PMDG. And zero fuel weight is supposed to be, let's see here, zero fuel weight. Let me, for that and this, right? Bring this over. You guys told me I should always have this displayed. I'm going to do it. Position of net. GPS still hasn't come up yet. JFK is my technique. It's actually not required, but I like to know that I'm in the ballpark, especially in the sim world. Make sure I didn't put the wrong flight plan in. GPS coordinates are coming up. While I'm waiting, I can put in my zero fuel weight of 381.6. Actually, you know what? It isn't. It's 442. Because now, you know what, guys? It's a 777-300. So we got to come back in here and change the airplane to a 777-300. See, this is what happens all the times that behind the scenes for me. You guys aren't paying attention. I'm doing all this stuff before I do my videos, and half the times, I have to. Let's see what we got here. 38,000 feet. Yeah, that's better. Block fuel stuff. Half the time I just redo it. 54.1 and 441.4. 54.1, 441.4. And the beauty is I can put in whatever fuel I want, right? And sorry to drag you through this block fuel 54.1. Memory like a steel trap. Now we got ourselves in a 777-300, which is really, there's our coordinates already, which is really what we should have checked in the first place, right? 777-300, one engine at a time, not because they're GEs, as Freaky D and others told me. If you have Rolls Royces, you can start them both at once. You're going to go here, KJFK, we're routes initializing. I'm going to go KJFK to KMIA and put that in and route request it and get that coming up. And while that's coming up, I'm going to put this away and I'm going to go to chat where I can see you guys, you all. Benchy, let me make this big, like that. Can you dive? No. Do you dive? No. All right, let me see. Chris, try to close out the background tabs you're not using. It helps the game not crashing. Thanks, Chris. I'll do that. Let me do that in a second. Benchy, you're doing great. Hey, thanks, man. Not really. Can you send me the route you're doing so I'll be doing the same route as you? Yes. That I can do. Benchy's going to fly with me. All right. So let's do this. Come up here. Sim briefing. Benchy, see this down here? Let me bring this over here, buddy. Let you do this. The IRS is aligning anyway. So Benchy, just write that down. I'm not going to go over to Discord, buddy. You got the wrong guy. I am so untalented when it comes to moving back and forth between one thing to other. You should be picking that up by now as you take this old Papa Bear through setting up Discord. But anyway, write that route down, and I'll let you do that. But anyway, so for those of you that have joined the chat that don't know me, 36 years with a major U.S. airline. Well, it's American. All right, I retire in September after 36 years at age 65. I have 6 kids, 5 grandkids. I was 7 years in the Air Force before that. Didn't fly anything sexy. No fighter pilot here. I was mostly T-37 instructor in tankers, and I went to the Air Force Academy before that. Um, Went down to my son's wedding this weekend. My oldest son got married. Super emotional for me. And next weekend, starting Thursday, my daughter graduates from medical school. So got a lot of great things going on in my life, including my retirement. I am not going to fly, I don't believe, when I retire. I've got an 87-year-old mom who I have to take good care of, and a wife who's watched me travel for decades and needs to be put on top, priority first here. So I think I'm going to stay home and make the money work, and I'll do a lot of this stuff. This is fun. Build my subscribership. Never going to make money on here, but I am definitely going to. It's a great hobby. I do have to do it, however. I'm just waiting for the IRS to line, guys. I do have to do it when my wife is doesn't need me, because, like I said, with all my travel, um, that's the priority. Minute 50 to alignment. I hope that clears some things up. Now that I did that for my boy Benchy, I'm going to come in here and go back to the stream. Busy life. Yeah, man. Reese, it is. So Benchy's going to be American Airlines Flight 485. Thank you. Nice route. Thanks, Mark. Mark's helped me a lot, too. A lot of these guys, these are the who's who. Yeah, you could buy yourself a real plane for retirement. No. Do you know how many pilots kill themselves, airline pilots, in the small planes? We're old, man. I'm not going to, more importantly, I don't want to kill anyone that's in my plane. I think I'm done. I do think I'm done. I might fly corporate. I don't know. Congrats, man. You must have been a great moment for you. Yeah, well, you don't retire. That was, I was just happy not to cry when I was delivering the speech, buddy. I got to be honest. That was my goal. Maybe an A310. Yeah, yeah. Copy the route, paste it, and YouTube. Oh, okay. Route 2. All right, all right. See, this is Benchy. Benchy knows stuff. All right, let's try that. He says I can copy the route, so I'll do that. While it's aligning, this is not wasted time. See if I can do this, Benchy. Copy. All right. All right. All right. All right. Paste. Ha! Nice, buddy. The guy's been like throwing me in his backpack and carrying me around on this um, Discord thing. All right, so let's go, guys. Back to the flight plan. All right, my second live stream ever. I have totally enjoyed becoming a sim pilot. You guys, this community, if you've watched gaming, I used to watch video streamers activate streamers for the shooting games, for Warzone in particular, because I used to play Call of Duty with my kids. I had like a 1 KD, not too bad for an old guy, but I'm going to put in 2.2 right here while we're talking. But I watched their chat, and kind of toxic, you know, compared the sim world. I'm sure I will run into it. It's a real flight, by the way, 777-300 back and forth to Miami. They reposition the big airplanes down for maintenance and things, and they do passenger flights with them. Perfinite here. Accept. And I'm going to go thrust limit. We're going to use max power. We're going to go flaps 5 on the flaps 15 on the 300. So Logan, I'm doing what you asked, buddy. I'm just not using the 300, or the 200. 29, 56, 52. Up in the window, 52. I'll look at chat here in a second. Yeah, so I'm not, let me see here. Looks like the RAUs are aligned. So we're going to put in, go 1,000 here. Put in 5,000. They're on 2.2 unless something changes in 224. That's runway heading V2. Go LNAV, VNAV for the reasons we mentioned earlier. And that's because we can go LNAV because I got to put in the departure right. JFK-5, 22 right. It's good. Execute. If you look on the legs, 224 is it, so we can go LNAV if we want. We're going to put in the arrival at Miami. It's probably going to go smoother now that I have to redo it. Bluefish to runway 12 is typically what they do. ILS to 12. Hogue transition. And there we go. All right, wind data, load, and then descent. Go to descent page, forecast, load, this. And always we check the page 2 on our takeoff data. Man, my you guys are rolling over there. Have you considered making instructional videos after retirement explaining the instruments protocols? Yeah, Chris, I have. You're welcome, Benchy. Thank you, buddy. I'll join you, Captain. Got to load sim first. Okay, that sounds good, guys. At the rate I'm going, you probably have plenty of time. We just let's see also how to speak with ATC. Yeah, Captain Florina, that I could do. I am going to do this after retirement, so I'll be doing. I kind of, if you look through my inventory on the library, I do a lot of instruction. I'm just really new to this thing. My guys kind of drag me into that sim, drag me into this. They can attest to that. It's quite a while V1 for the 777. Yeah, it sure is, but we are extremely lightweight. Typically our V1 is a V2 is a V1's down around this is about a 144 for the V1, and V2's up around 172. It's 150, 172, but we are very, very lightweight. Our max takeoff weight is 775, and we are at 495, so that's why we are so slow. Maybe some videos with the awesome stories from the 36 years in the industry. Yeah, Cajun, Florin, you'll get some of those, including today. Sim community is definitely mature, non-toxic, supportive. I'm sure there's a pain out there or two. I haven't met him. I haven't loaded the aircraft yet. Yeah, we're not gonna. Benchy. All right. Benchy's gonna drag me into this world, kicking and screaming. I am so bad at it. Request refueling. Operate jetways. Jetway to 2L. Confirm selection. Let's go outside. See what I do have, Benchy. Oh, so I just disconnected I had the jetway. I do have, Benchy, it's a misconception out there on this stuff. Let me show you guys something. Payload. When you put in the 0 fuel weight, that includes cargo. You don't have to load cargo and packs. 0 fuel weight includes cargo and packs. So as long as I've seen some streamers do this wrong. They're in there throwing cargo in, passengers. 0 fuel weight includes cargo and packs. So you don't have to load these two. As long as you get the 0 fuel weight in there, you are loaded. Yeah, I just took off the jet bridge. You know what? I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. Close all the doors. So I think I did, buddy. I'm going to leave it. I meant loading in the PMDG FMC. Okay, let me look. Let me see here, buddy. PMDG. Takeoff's loaded. Legs are loaded. Routes loaded. Takeoff thrust limit. Perf I already loaded. That's the 0 fuel weight. Might be wrong. Go to the menu. No, we're all loaded, Bubba. We are loaded, at least as far as Father Time loads it. That's it. We're ready to go. All right, we're going to get this message for active sim. I'm new to this, so I thought I loaded it. Cruise altitude. No, it's not. I'm just going to put in 40. Feet per minute climb. Auto route. Yeah, that's good enough. Load. Yeah, it wants me to put in a flight plan. I'm not going to do that. So I'll tell you what. Let's leave that be. Okay. Let's get out of here. Never doubt the captain. And thanks, Benchy, but that's not true. All right, here we go, guys. So altimeter was 3010. Altimeter information unit from 301 winds at 260 at 6 knots, runway 22 right. And by the way, we're at gate 8 at the American Airlines terminal. Even I can find my way out of here, especially me, right? All right, so let's put in the engine out down here. That's 800 AFL. So there is no engine out procedure on runway 2231. There's actually an LNAV procedure. This one would just be runway heading to 810. Clean it up in VNAV, 3000 min sector, come back around and land. Now, thing to think about on 22 right, that's the long runway. It's got a displaced threshold. We could use the displaced threshold in an emergency. Is we might have fought it out the runway if we blow an engine on the runway. But 22 left, we're so light. No need to dump fuel, which is up here. We're so light we could just come back in and land on either runway. But we would do landing data ahead of time. And not on BATSIM. Yes, sir. So here we go. It's connected maybe through all this nonsense. 320, maybe we got some Kennedy stuff going on here. Come on, baby. Maybe we got at least ground or something, or ATIS. Nope, not yet. Yeah, so Benchy and I talked yesterday about maybe going over to Germany or England where they have full controllers. I'll do it. I've done it. A little more intimidating, isn't it? And Benchy's not ready just yet. I'm not ready either. All right, guys, so let's do the pre-flight. We actually would have done this before we have completely loaded the box. We checked the circuit breakers, we checked the vest, we checked the center console. We're all set to go. We already went over that before we crashed. Now come up here, ADARU's on all the way down. All these are normal positions. Ground Part City. This is runway override. We did a whole pre-flight checklist. You guys can look at that online. These are all normal positions. Hydraulics all off. Let's put the seatbelt sign on. We're within 10 minutes of departure. We should have the nav lights on. Beacons are off. All these lights are off. Back up top. All the fires were tested initially. Cross feeds are closed. This is a big one. A lot of times the cross feeds are open. The fuels will run up here and open the cross feeds on you. You'll be taxiing out and you'll get an imbalance. So I always make sure cross feeds close. And wing tanks, the wing tanks are all the fuels in the wings because you have to fill the wings up before you fill up the center. Right, that's the APU using that. So you want to make sure there's no fuel in the center if the wing tanks aren't full. You get CG issues. Back up here. You'll notice if you haven't been with me before that I'm a rather primitive with my movement around the cockpit. Guys are trying to help me. You know, they're doing the best they can. Sorry, guys. And then you come across the top, down the middle. If you want to recall the messages, you do this, checklist recall. Look down here, no one wanted messages. Back here we should be on checklist. We would have reset everything. The PMDG is fantastic, but it's missing a lot of things. We normally go reset all, reset the masters, normal menu, pre-flight, and we also reset the databases. Oxygen is tested 100%. Flight instruments are heading and altimeters are all set and cross-checked. Yeah, he's got 310, I got 310, and it matches with field elevation. Normal here, before start, flight deck door. Woohoo! Want to make sure that's armed, covers closed. We get our briefing from the flight attendants, MCP. Things we check on the MCP, make sure the auto throttles are up, flight directors are up, and autopilot is engaged. And we come through here, VNAV, LNAV, 152, auto on the bank, 224 is runway heading, 5,000 and the 1,000-foot mark. That's my preference. I always come down here when I do that, and I check Toga, LNAV, VNAV, 810 engine out, 310 matches field elevation. I checked all 3 times. Make sure it's within 75 feet. MCP is checked. Takeoff speeds already checked, but let's go through it. Thrust limit. We are in Toga. We'd always check 104.4 and 104.4, and we check that against a TPS. That's huge, actually. And for takeoff, the pilot flying normally in our airline is in takeoff page, and pilot monitoring is in legs page. So that's what I did over there. Takeoff mode, and you always check page 2, 800 feet, 1,000, that's fine. That's NADP 2, NADP 1 in Europe, be 800, 1,500 on the reduction, 3,000 on the acceleration altitude, and this of course would be not in inches but millibars at 1013 on the altimeter. CDU pre-flight, if you're just joining us, what we check is we start with the database, giving Benchy time to get all up to speed here and make sure that's good. It's good till May 18th. Navigraph updates that database if you have a Navigraph subscription, which I do. Position init, we are all set. The for reasonableness. We'd walk through the route page together as a crew. We'd go through the leg page under plan, and we'd take that and we'd walk through. And what we're really checking on this, guys, is against the nav display. Make sure there's no discontinuities. But when we're doing a SID or a star, we check that against our JEP-JP or Navigraph to make sure those points and altitudes are correct. We'd walk all the way down to Miami, all the way down, making sure we don't have any discontinuities, making sure that it agrees with the flight plan. One guy's holding the flight plan, the other guy's reading through. And then when you get to the arrival, you get the JEP-JD or the Navigraph up, and you check these crossing altitudes. By the way, I fly with data on, so you can see the crossing altitudes right there on the nav display. For whatever reason, a lot of guys don't like to do that, even in the airline. Never have understood that. And so we go walk all the way down, checking that against our JEP-JD, and it's radar vectors. And then we go to Prague, 10:11. Off the flight plan, it was 10:22. We checked that before we crashed last time. And then we go to Navrad, make sure nothing is in manual. If it was in manual, it looked like this. And it stays in there a lot of times between flights. And that just degrades your navigational cross-checking. Truth is, probably wouldn't do anything because it's really off the GPS and satellites. So there we go. And I'll put that away. All right, so CDU is good. Trim, it's going to be about 4.5. Right now we're at 4.1. I'll set that when the hydraulics get going. Trim, taxi and takeoff brief. Okay, guys, be my takeoff. We are at Kennedy. We are going to push back. How about try that again, right? And we're going to go to 2-2. So what I'm going to do is push nose to the left, and we are going to go out this taxiway, which is Tango Alpha, right on Alpha, hold short of Victor. And then they're eventually going to clear us to cross 3-1 right at Victor, right on Charlie, left on Echo, hold short of 2-2 right. Funny thing is, the taxiways are mislabeled down there in this Kennedy. Echo is Fox Alpha, and Fox Alpha is Echo. We'll figure it out. We'll get there somehow, all right? Don't let me forget that. And then I go in, and of course, we always go to Navigraph. We do the SID. Oh, someone taught me this last time, and thank you so much. I don't know if you're with me. You're still not on VATSIM. Okay, that's your old message. Sorry, buddy. Respo, I like the streaming time as well. It's late in Australia, but not too late. Yeah. Excited to have this bird, and Microsoft Sim will be a blast. How will we do this departure? Okay, Benchy, we're going to just go runway heading, and at about maybe 2,000 feet, we'll do a simulated radar vector departure, and we'll head over to, let me see on here. Hold on a second. Benchy's flying with me, guys. Anyone else wants to fly with me? Let's go. Why don't we go direct to MJ after departure if there's no ATC up, which there still is no ATC up, okay? So we'll go runway heading. How about this, Benchy? Runway heading, whenever you want, go to direct to MJ. All right? Cool? I think something is wrong with your model matching. I'm not in a CRJ. I'm in a 738. Yes, I am not. I have a model matching thing I downloaded. Oh, there you are. There's Benchy. I got a model matcher. I downloaded it, but typical father time, it's not working. So unless one of you guys moves next door, there's going to be all sorts of glitches with this old fella. So old fella, geez, I sound like I'm 100, not 64. Okay, sometimes I hear my father. Okay, so Benchy's got that down. So the way the takeoff brief would go is we'd go to the other guy who's very quiet. His name's Bob. He hardly says a word. I say, you got anything for me, Bob? What's your greatest threat? And he would say that you're a terrible sim pilot. I said, yeah, thank you, brother. Okay, other than that, he would say, okay, we're going to have to cross an active taxiway over at 31 right. I say, that's true. Okay, so then I'd start with my brief. I'd say, okay, we're going to push back, nose to the left, and taxi out Tango Alpha, right on Alpha, hold short of Victor. Then we'll expect to be cleared to cross 31 right at Victor, right on Charlie, right on Echo. These two taxiways are reversed on this map, and hold short of 22 right. So just follow me, Benchy. I know the way, I hope. Famous last words. And then the SID, guys, You know what? I need to put in flights. I got to unload new flight, JFK to Miami. Pretty good, right? I'm learning how to do this. Some of you guys haven't seen me before. My guys know that, it's pretty amazing. I'm getting anything done here. The SID is just runway heading off 22 right. And off to JFK 5 SID. Kennedy 5 departure is runway heading 224. So pretty straightforward. All right, and we talked about engine out. Anything prior to 80 knots, I'll execute the abort between 80 and V1. It would be engine failure or fire, overheat, controllability issue. We don't think we control the aircraft, or predictive wind shear. We get it here. Okay. Between 80 and V1, we are in the go mode. If it's a gear problem, we'll clean it up with the gear down and not pull up the mains. If we have a wheel well fire or any kind of gear issue, we'll fly around to 3,000 feet, work out the problems. No need to dump. Got plenty of runway. We'd have a worst case scenario off our landing app, and we're good to go. Any questions? And Bob says no, if Bob even answers me. He's really, really quiet, really quiet. Taxi takeoff brief's complete, and now we go and request. Benchy, you were asking. So in the U.S., let's get the latest ATIS guys before we push back. We push back. Usually our airports at the major airports are 28,725, controlled by the company ramp. No need to do it. We request pushback there, not with ground. I just hit the pitch trim on my way there. And I need to go here, here, here. And I've got my volume turned off at ATC so that I don't get on Unicom continuous stuff. Kennedy Airport, X-ray. 1630Z winds 250 at 3, visibility greater than 20 miles. That's the captain's weather. Runway heading 5,000 feet, clearing a million. A few clouds at 13,000. Temperature 16, so at 32, 60, about 61. 2.7, altimeter 3009, and 22 right. And then that other nonsense. Let's get rid of that. And over here we would have, if you really want to know, Mr. Benchy boy, we would have 29.2 is Kennedy ramp. What we'd be doing, push back with them. Over here we would have Kennedy ground. This isn't going to happen, but we would have Kennedy ground, which is 121.9 and 19.1. Be tower, and departure is going to be Unicom 22.8. Squawk, I'm going to put TARA on and 1200 for now. We're an IMC flight plan. Why don't we just put on some fake squawk here? Maybe they'll come up. And I do not see any tower or ground up as of now. So that's our squawk. So our beacon's on. All right, let's see. Sounds good. I'm ready to push back here now. Okay, buddy, I'm ready to. Have you remember to go to Unicom? I will, my friend. There is no ATIS online. I know I just did the Kennedy local ATIS. We're planning on going to 2-2. Bob is ideal. Yes. Now, Chris. No, Bob's not the ideal FO. But ideal FO keeps the old fella out of trouble. No ego here, buddy. Are you doing the P3D ATIS? No, I just, to be honest with you, Benchy, I have active sky up, and I just match the field elevation with the ATIS. I do not, I don't go with the local ATIS if it doesn't match the field elevation. So 3009 is what I'm using. See how that works. We'll get there. And no ATIS on that. What did you say? You better go to Unicom. Yeah, let's do that. We'll go to Unicom. Anyway, I just wanted to show you how I would set up in the real world, and if they happen to become online, that's what we do. So we're on Unicom now. And I'm not going to call them for, oh, I guess I could. I want to see if my mic works here. Yeah. Somebody help me out there. The key was my mic wasn't working on, unless I was clicked on to the vPilot. And then they taught me that you got to open up vPilot and P3D and Administrator, and then I toggled it. So I forget now who helped me with that. Thank you very much. I was having to go back and forth. One less one-arm paper hanger. Not that there's anything wrong with a one-arm paper hanger. Stuff going on. All right, Benchy, I'm going to do some fake radio calls here. All right, buddy, here we go. I'll go outside. There you go. All right. Kenny Ram. This is American 320 Heavy, Gate 12. Information X-ray. Push back and start. American 320, you're clear to push and start. Gate 12. You will be going out Tango Alpha. Clear to push and start. Gate 12 for Tango Alpha for American 320 Heavy. If you guys haven't flown with me, I do the fake radio calls. Everything about me is kind of fake. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So I'd say, okay, let's go with 4-star checklist. My flow is up here. I see my boy Benchy's already out there. My guy. I get the fuel pumps on. Hydraulics right to left so you don't get fluid transfer. I put the beacon on. This guy is checking. He does one last check, a recall down here. Make sure we got no unwanted messages. We check outside, make sure the ground equipment is all gone. And you know what? I'll be right with you, Benchy. Because I've got to get rid of my chocks. Naturally, this is stuff that our guys do for us in the airplane. Captain Marvel has to now do by himself. Ground operations. Let's see, ground services. Chocks removed. And the reason I want to make sure my doors are armed. Doors. And I want to go in here and go menu. Doors. Benchy, I'll be right with you, buddy. You're faster than me. Arm all. Takes a little while, but that's arming them all. We check that. We check the security on the door. Check the logbook one last time. And say, okay, we're ready to go. Clear to push. So now I'm going to go outside. Got room with Benchy. Where is he? Probably way back there, right? Where'd you go, brother? There you are. Kind of fun. I've never flown with anyone before in the airline. Did it in the Air Force. I'm going to get the engines ready for start. Do the checklist. Before taxi, we'll do that one. All right, so I'm going to go engine up here. This. Coming, Benchy. I'm coming, brother. And here we go. Let's see. Menu. Here. Pushback. Ground will probably cancel my clearance by now. We're going to go. I'm going to go straight. I'm going to go dot the I, which is push back and pull forward a little bit. Nose to the left. Oh, I got to get a tug hooked up. And then nose to the left. 90-degree turn. Yeah, go 90. And that's it. And start.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our right. Copy that. Ready to push. Tail to the right. Parking brakes release, please.
All right, I'm going to send a message on.
Brakes released.
Benchy just reminded me. Good idea, buddy. And it's American 320 Heavy for Kennedy traffic, pushing back off gate 12. All right, guys. So far, so good. So my first live stream, I forgot to start engines at Hartford. So I did everything. I was ready to taxi. I said, oh, nothing's working. The engines aren't working, and I have a problem here, my darn sim. And I had forgotten to start engines. So we are clear to start. Let's get this done. Everyone was real nice about it except Freaky D. Oh, Bella was laughing at me. Freaky D was laughing at me too.
402 heavy Newark traffic, 5 mile final ILS C2 left.
Start the left one first. Clear to start one engine at a time because they're GEs, not because it's a 300. So if you have Rolls Royces, start them both at once. My My guys corrected me on that. Between Commander Sweeper and Freaky D, I got my scoop straight. So I always thought we started one engine at a time because we're 300. It's really because we have the big 110,000 pound thrust engines and their GEs. Our true engines we start one at a time because they're Rolls Royce, two at a time because they're Rolls Royces. If they were GEs, even though it's a 200, we'd start one at a time. So I was straightened out on that. All right, so Benchy has reminded me to reconnect as a .300. Thanks, Benchy. Benchy lives in Denmark, guys. He's my rock star. All right, that's a little close to the terminal. I think we're good here, brother. Stop the push. And I'm older than his dad, no doubt. Way older. I'm probably close to his granddad's age. He has been like putting me on his back and carrying me through the Discord, so it's fun flying with him. I do appreciate all you guys helping me. I'm going to disconnect the tug, park the brakes, clear him to disconnect. But I tell you what, I'm just going to disconnect the tug here, guys. I'm going to go outside and make sure we're cool. He's gone. I get the salute, flash my taxi light at him. Chris says, Benchy, are you a real-life pilot? Benchy, you a real-life pilot, brother? Hopefully one day. I don't know when he's going to become a real-life pilot, but when he becomes one, he's going to be one rock star. Trust me. All right, so the FO monitored the engine start while Captain Marvel was screwing around with his chat. 2, 4, 6, 8, the oil looks good. Let's start the right engine. So Freaky D 777 is one of our subscribers. He's a engineer that actually helped design the 777, worked on the systems. He's been with, Boeing for decades. He and I did a little video that we're trying to get permission to publish, but from his corporation. Like me with American Airlines, I'm really not supposed to be doing this because, let's do that, proprietary rights. So he's even more so. He's much younger than me and got a long way to go. So he's running it through his corporate, see if he can get permission. If that's the case, yeah, I hit the throttles at home, guys. If that's the case, spassing out over here, we'll be doing a bunch of instructional videos where we interact. I'll tell some real-life pilot stories, operator issues. He'll correct me on things I've said, but more, he'll give us the insight on how products were developed, some of the things that make these airplanes work that are highly interesting. But the first one's already done. We may have to redo it depending on what his corporation said. So anyway, something to look forward to. Freaky D 777. All right, so the engines are started. Go back to the checklist, guys. Anti-ice we're more than 10 degrees with no visible moisture. Taxiways and ramps are not congested with snow, so no anti-ice. Recall, I just do it, guys. There's things you forget. It would pop up here. Nope, nothing. Didn't forget anything today. Recall flight controls. If you guys are following me, you know. This is always exciting with Father Time. Will my flight controls work? Here we go. All right, the FO usually takes does the flight controls stop to stop. He takes 6 seconds total so that you don't get banging around back there. Believe it or not, you can hear it in the cabin. And there's the elevators, and the captain usually checks the rudders. That's my hostage stick. Once again, 6 seconds stop to stop. The rudder pedals, auto parking brakes just kicked off when I did that. Stop to stop. You can see this little bit of a tight turn. I'll come out here. We're going to go to Tango Alpha and actually out right on Alpha, and we'll assume that we're clear to cross, and then right on Charlie, left on Echo down there, which is mislabeled taxiways. Yeah, Benchy's only 16, guys. He's a great guy from Denmark, working with me. Really having a great experience working. He knows his stuff, so he set me up on Discord. I know. Do I have enough? Yes, I do, Benchy. Have enough wingtip clearance to go through there, but I know it looks tight. I'll make it though. Okay, we're taking one last look over at VATSIM, and we are connected, and there's still nothing to do with Kennedy. You tell me, Benchy. Make sure I don't hit. All right, so parking brakes are released. We clear left, clear right, and I have a salute. Here we go. 300 actually starts moving as soon as you go to idle power, even at max gross weight. So I'm going to get my nose tracking over here. Yeah, I want me to go to Uticom. Thanks, Benchy. Yeah, Kennedy traffic. This is American 320 777-300. We're taxiing out Tango Alpha for runway 22 right. All right, so we would clear the inner taxiway out there. Let's do it like this. That looks good. To the Miracle of Sim Hood. We're going to go right on Alpha. Yeah, it's funny, when I reprogram my mic switch, I programmed it to a button that also nose up trim. All right, so I am moving here. Overshoot quite a bit in the 300. We have a camera that we can activate to track it. I don't use it much these days because I just know where my stuff is. Although Benchy's probably going to be behind me saying I went off the taxiway. All right, so normally we cross the bridge. You never want to stop on a bridge, right? And we're told to hold short of Victor, which is right up ahead of us on the other side of the bridge. We hold there. 31 right is not active, and then at some point he says, Kennedy ground says, American 320 heavy, you're clear to cross 31 right at Victor, right on Charlie, left on Echo, hold short of 22 right. American 320 heavy, clear to cross 31 right at Victor, right on Charlie, left on Echo, hold short of 22 right. Usually the FO doesn't run the checklist while the captain's kind of busy. They will look down. We'll get our closeout, which is electronic printout. He'll check weights, winds, and temperatures silently. He'll tell us if he's looking down. He'll say, hey, boss, I'm heads down. That means he's not looking. He wouldn't do it here. He'd do it when we were on Charlie. And when he's checking his weight, winds, and temperatures, we're max power. He makes sure our takeoff weight is below runway limited, climb limited. If we were doing assumed takeoff, which is reduced power, he'd make sure that it was, okay, clear left, clear right, clear to cross, right on Charlie up here. And as long as our weights were at or below what we planned for, the weights are checked. Winds. Winds are like 250 at 8. So that's weights, winds are checked. Still no Kennedy Tower clearance, nothing, guys. So we're still going to be on Unicom. Yeah, Active Sky wants me to load a flight plan. We're not doing it. So weights, winds, a headwind. There was a tailwind. For every knot of tailwind on the 300, you subtract 440 pounds off your runway limited. Not a big deal today, but if you were going to New Delhi at 775,000 pounds, it's a big deal. Imagine that, a 10-knot tailwind, 44,000 pounds off your max runway limited weight. Climb limited usually isn't a factor here. Weights, winds, and temperatures are checked. And the temperature, you just want to check if you're doing a max power that you're at or below what you planned for on the temperature. Weights, winds, and temperatures. So weights, winds, and temperature, take off dead and bugs, and I would say checked. And it'd say MCP and radios. MCP and radios, that's down here. Oh, by the way, I should have my taxi light on here. MCP and radios. I can't do my lights because Benchy's watching me. This is an interesting thing up here. I can't get by that guy parked up here. Let me take a little through the miracle of Sim Hood. Okay, that's good. Optical illusion. What do you guys do? Like this? All right. MCP and radios. So we come down here, MCP. We check LNAV, VNAV, 224, 5,152, and we're LNAV, VNAV here. So weights, MCP and radios are checked, and we go to 22 right. We go to 10 on the range for engine out, and 22 right is set. Weights, winds, and temperatures are checked. At this point, I make a PA, flight attendants prepare for takeoff. Got to do that no later than 2 minutes prior. You just want to give them more time there. You monitor their PA. What do we got over here? Benchy, hopefully one day. And then just because, would you recommend Benchy become a pilot these days? COVID definitely highlighted some job security. Becoming an airline pilot, guys, I've talked to Benchy about it, is always a risky venture. The best pilot can have the worst career, and the worst pilot can have the best career. Came out of the Air Force, have never been furloughed. But Benchy, what he's got going for him is he's only 16. He's going to get started real early. He can ride that time out. So yes, it's a lucrative career, relatively speaking, to the rest of the world, not from a corporate CEO stance or anything. You're very comfortable. Now, guys, Echo is the second left. We're not going to go there. We're going to go, this is going to say, I think, Fox something. Anyway, the taxiways are misnumbered. That's the runway. Usually we go left here, which is Echo. We'll see if they're relabeled. We'll talk more about that. If those bother you, can clear those messages top of the screen in the info settings in SIM. Thanks, Leo. There's 6 people down here at JFK. All right, let's go outside and check. Left and right, looks good. Okay, guys, we're supposed to go left Echo. We're going to go left here. I don't like the way these taxiways are numbered here. So we're going to do this. We're going to go left here. But normally we go the second left. See how it says Zulu Alpha up here? That's actually Echo. We're going to go left here because I'm not happy with this. It is we'd have to be more careful if we had actual ground controller. One last check of the V-Pilot. I don't see any frequencies. Hey, Benchy, I'm going to stop up here, brother, and just get my lights set. Taxiing in the sim world. I'm going to take off right here. We're so light. Good enough. I'm going to stop short. You want to take off first? Okay, bud. Good question. Let's hold short up here. I'm going to stop here, Benchy. Benchy's going to go first. All right, so we'll come back inside. Yeah, you'll have to walk me through, Benchy, how to get the proper app so I can identify other aircraft correctly. All right, there he goes. Let's go back to our checklist. Flight controls are checked. Ground equipment's checked. Flaps are 15. Oh, you know what? Holy shit. Benchy. Did I just say the S word, guys? And checklist override. Before takeoff, after takeoff, we're good. Let Benchy go because he's flying a little slower.
American 45 taking off from me to right, runway heading.
And Kennedy traffic. This is American 320 taking the runway 22 right. All right. So what just happened there? I did not set my flaps. Normally we set those right after engine start, which tells me I probably don't have I still have my APU running too. So last time I was joking, I didn't start the engines. This time I didn't lower my flaps. So if this were not a live stream, I would redo it. So you know how bad I've been doing behind the scenes. Benchy's out of here. He's on his way. Give him a little space. Get up here. We always check runway heading, guys. Let Benchy get a running start on me. Sure enough. All right. No messages up here. AP is cooling down. RTO. Passenger signs are on. Let me just check my stab trim, guys, because I've been my mic is tied up with my stab trim. So always an adventure. My guys know that. They expect no less. And Kennedy traffic, American 320 taking off runway 22 right, going runway heading 5,000. 4.5 star stab trim, guys. All right, Benchy should be well on the way. And here we go. Parking brakes are off. We go 50% before we engage. This is the toga switch on the PMDG up here. And away we go. Flaps and all. Freaky D, I fully expect that you'll comment on that, buddy.
80 knots.
Checks. Make sure we have no clogged pitot tubes.
V1. Rotate.
And about 12 degrees. We're real light, so it might be a little higher today.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Trim, trim, trim's your friend. Doing runway heading. Autopilot's on, LNAV in it. I'll get it cleaned up and I'll turn downstream. All right, we went to climb power at 1,000 feet. We're above 1,500. We'll start getting the flaps up here. Why don't we put them up? And flaps 1, we can bring them all the way up. And what did I tell MG? So we're going to climb up to our cruising altitude, guys, since no one cares, right? By the way, still no Kennedy on the ATIS, 38,000 feet. So 38,000. Right behind you, Benchy. Here I come, brother. And what we would say is, if there's clearance, say, Kennedy, American, let's go MJ. Let's say Kennedy departure, American 320 heavies out of 5,600 for flight level 280. American 300 heavy, Kennedy departure, roger, cleared, left direct MJ. Left direct MJ, American 300, 320 heavy. So here we go. We would ask the other guy how that looked when we did it. And there's MJ. This is cool. Benchy flying with me. So he's trying to get me up to a point where I can put on Discord so we can all fly together. All right, LNAV, VNAV, checklist. After takeoff climb checklist complete. Next one is, we would have a cruise checklist normally. We usually leave the screen blank, believe it or not. That's what we usually do. All right, so what do we got here? Chris, should we get the phone number ready? Yeah. No, but I got it. Hit the traffic button. Traffic. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Traffic. Make sure I got that here. Traffic. There's Benchy right there, guys. Smoking out ahead of me. Benchy, if you got to tell Unicom you were taking off. No, I did, man. I did. I said, we're taking off runway 22 right. Sporty acceleration. Yeah, Philip, well, we're so light. I was at max power. Normally we would reduce it. I just didn't have the takeoff data way down, but we were max power takeoff. So yeah, that was sporty acceleration. because we had max power set on a 480,000 pound airplane. Well, trying out the Soon. No, Leo, as the guys that watch me know, I'm only going to be flying the 777 until I retire. Benchy's going up to 36. You know what, Benchy? I'll go up to 2. I'll go to 38. I'll pass you up there. I'm just going to stay on course, Benchy. No more directs. We'll just fly our LNAV, VNAV all the way. Still nothing on V-Pilot as far as frequencies go, so no one's on the air. So the guys, you guys said something funny, but if you, so I went on. I put a video out on it. First time I flew, maybe the second time I flew VATSIM, I got a letter, an email, and a warning and a referral to the VATSIM protocol because I didn't pick up frequencies. So you'll notice I'm a little jumpy. I'm forever looking up at the V-Pilot freaks and notes and making sure I don't miss a frequency. It was very funny. I actually made a donation to VATSIM of $100 because I was so guilt-stricken. Anyway. Yeah, VATSIM, Mark, VATSIM's usually busy at night. Kind of get my arms around. The problem I have at night is I'm married and I want to stay married. My wife's been real good about this stuff, but I don't want to start taking out of our TV time, so I'm kind of stuck. And she doesn't want me getting up in the middle of the night and playing this game, so I'm kind of stuck to these hours. So my best bet is to go to Europe and fly out of Heathrow and Gatwick, which I've been doing to Manchester. It's been really great. All right, there's a transition altitude, standard, crush check, standard. And at 18,000, my airline, I know VATSIM gets them out of 10. My airline, we turn off our lights at 18. Not a real big deal at night, right? In the daytime, rather, can't see anything. I turn the logo, everything off but the strobes, beacon, and nav. I want to thank all you guys, Mark 88 and Commander Sweeper. I can't even mention all you guys. Like right now, I would be getting this volume going on here with the ATIS rolling across the screen, and it was driving me crazy. And one of you guys figured that out for me. The controller will ping you if they come online. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, absolutely. The problem is I've been missing it. That's why I got the letter. They pinged me like 4 times, and they had sent me over to Unicom for departure out of Gatwick, and they had pinged me 4 times. Benji, I'm so happy I got no homework this weekend. You know, when you get out of school, I know you guys, I used to have nightmares my first decade or two after getting out of school that I didn't study for an exam. I think the most pressure you have is, number one, and we call it high school, Benji, in the U.S. I think that's the most pressure there is socially and in everything. College is a lot easier. But once you get out of college, so much easier. Just go make money and have a good time. There's pressures of work, but it's not too bad. Guys, I'd like to keep my heading bug slewed up over here. All right, guys. I'm going to tell a story. Got a long run down to Miami, then we'll come back. So it came up in a conversation, and I forget, guys, I'm sorry who it was, but I had an emergency back in like 1995, American Airlines flight down to Santo Domingo. It was MD-11. I'm just going to tell one story. MD-11, we pushed back off the gate. At that time, we started number 1 and 3. I was the FO, 1 and 3. And when we get out onto the taxiway, we started number 2. So we got pushed back, started number 1 and 3, came out of what we just did, Tango Alpha, I used to be called Victor Bravo, made a left on Bravo, and we started the number 2 engine. And all of a sudden, Gulf Air behind us said, American that just turned the left on Bravo, there's a maintenance crew in the Gulf Air, you have fire going out of your number 2 engine, your tail engine, going all the way up your tail. So the captain, his name was Walter Liu. Back then he could smoke in the cockpit. He had a cigarette in the cockpit. He seemed old back then, but he's younger than I am now. He said, shit. He said, shut it down. So I shut down the number 2 engine. Walter's smoking, and he calls back to Bobby. He goes, Bobby, come on up here, who's the number one flight attendant. He opens the door. He goes, yeah. He goes, we had a fire. You guys see anything back there? Walter had a New York accent. And Bobby, the flight attendant, said, yeah, no, I don't see anything. And Walter said, okay, yeah, we had an indication of a fire. We have no indication up here. Guys, it was a tailpipe fire. So we blew the bottle. Gulf Air, we said, how does it look now? They turned away. And so then another maintenance guy said, no, you've got fire going up your tail, American. So we blew the second bottle, and they said, no, you still got fire going up your tail. And so Walter, by now the cigarette ashes are flying all over the place, and he said, shit, we might have to evacuate. Give me the evacuation checklist. Well, the door was open, and Bobby heard that and started an evacuation from the flight attendants. The flight attendant did. We had the engines running. People are going to be going out. And Walter looks at me and he said, why the heck did you do that? And I said, I didn't do it. I didn't. And so I shut down both engines and out of sequence. Usually you do that after. Meanwhile, I found out later the flight attendants, the slides all went out, and they saw the slides were blowing around behind the engine. We only had 104 people on the airplane, of 300. 30-something were injured. And turns out during the evacuation check, months prior to the MD-11, Google it, 79 people out of 300 were injured off these high-speed slides. They didn't really fix it. You come down so steep, so fast, they would bounce over, and you had these elderly, poor Dominican people getting thrown off the end, face first, and we had a couple of very serious injuries. I went out the front door after we did our checklist. Walter went off the back door, and I was out the front. I got the megaphone, helped with the evacuation. By then, everyone was off the aircraft wandering around, and Walter comes down the back slide like he's supposed to. And maintenance are at the bottom. By now, they see everyone getting hurt. They're trying to catch him, but Walter was a very large man, and they got out of the way, and Walter came off, still with the cigarette in his mouth, and skidded on his butt across the ramp, and popped up, flipped over. His pants were all torn, and that's it. In retrospect, the FAA report was, yeah, based on the information we had, we did the right thing, but we should have waited. If we knew it was a tailpipe fire because there was no indication of EGT, we should have given it more time to burn out, and we didn't. So anyway, we didn't get in trouble. Everything was good. That's my MD-11 story. I promised to tell that. Yes, Leo, April 1995. That was me. I was the FO on the Santo Domingo flight. I thought it was 587, but I read in the report the other day when I was sending it to someone that it was 719, and it was the inaugural flight to Santo Domingo on the MD-11. We ran back and forth to Santo Domingo to utilize the airplane when they weren't going to Europe or South America. Oh, until what year was smoking allowed for pilots? So, as you know, the first thing to get rid of was smoking in the cabin. We used to have tar going up the tail on the walk-around in the 727s. And then they said, okay, no smoking in the cabin domestic, but the cockpit can smoke because they didn't want us getting all shaky up there, the smokers amongst us. Then they said, but you can smoke internationally. So the flight attendants, all who were smokers, all came over to international, and they all smoked. Then they said, okay, no, you can't smoke in the cabin internationally, but you can smoke in the cockpit. So we had a smoker's lounge up there. We'd have 8 flight attendants out of 12 up there smoking, and I'd have the oxygen mask on. And then they said, no, you can't even smoke in the cockpit. What year? I was still a co-pilot. I would say 94, 95 was the last time you could smoke in the cockpit. But we had all the smokers from cockpit and cabin flying that airplane. And then they said, you can't smoke in the cockpit. So they started putting wet towels at the cockpit door and still smoking. And even that got them in trouble, so guys stopped doing it. That's the smoking deal. Someone did ask about that the other day. Hey, let's take a look. Let's see here. Still no V-pilot information for VATSIM. Coming up 37 for 38. Yeah, smoking is bad for you, Benchy. Yeah, we knew even when I was a kid, everyone knew smoking was bad for you. I've been known to grab an occasional cigarette, especially if I'm having a beer, if I'm sitting around with a smoker. I don't, but yeah, Stuff will. It's the only what it is. The only drug. Hey, I see you down there, Benchy. There he is, my guy. You know, sometimes when we're flying the North Atlantic, um, we'll come across, let's say, Delta, flying along in an A330 or what do you call those? A350. We'll take a picture of them and then get their email and send it to them so they have a picture of themselves flying. It's kind of cool. It's nice. I have a couple that people sent me over the years. Good looking bird. Yeah, Leo. So Leo Googled it and found it. Yeah, 1995, April 1995. It was in the New York Times, and the New York Times quoted the story. The passengers saying they heard the captain yelling, "Bobby, Bobby, come up here, come up here." So it's the first time I realized that the New York Times reporting that part was correct. Was not exactly correct at all times, but they got that part right. All right, we're at 38,000. We have a cruise checklist. Things we do on cruise checklist, we update the winds. If you want to update the winds, you go down to route data, wind request, update the winds, put in any delay codes. They keep that for historical purpose. If we were delayed, why we were delayed, was it takeoff and landing traffic, all that stuff. We do any required checks like APU checks. All right, wind load is ready. Get the most current wind. Execute. They're probably going to get some decent winds in here too. Forecast. And that's it. Nope, no decent winds today. All right, cruise items will be complete. We don't have it on this aircraft. Have you had to have an emergency in midair from Benchy? No, we plan for it constantly. I've had well, yeah, I mean, I had to shut down an engine en route on an Airbus. We were going to Europe. We started losing oil. Turns out all that happened is they left the oil cap off, and the oil was getting suctioned out of there. It would have stopped at around 8, but we didn't know it. Turned around, declared a emergency, which was a Mayday emergency at the time, and flew back into Kennedy, dump fuel. And we couldn't dump fuel. We actually flew back with a gear. We didn't have dump fuel on the A300, so we had the A300-600, which is a 310. There it goes. Leo's looked it up. Yep, April 2nd, flight 719 with that aircraft. That was me, buddy. Yeah. I also lost an engine. I took a chicken hawk in the left engine on an A300 taken off out of Caracas, Venezuela, and we came back around. I was the co-pilot and did a non-precision approach into the runway, and we did a pretty lousy job on the non-precision approach. I wasn't flying, but I thought it was not flown well. We ended up laying over for 6 days till they get the engines fixed. That was probably the weakest captain I've ever flown with, up until I became a captain, right? And I've had a bunch of different things that, a lot of medical emergencies, lots of those. You usually get 2 or 3 of those a year. Some of them with diverts. That's the most common one. Let's look at the arrival, guys. I did load up. Hey, that's interesting. I did load up ACARS on the ground. Oh, you know what? It dumped it. That was because I think when the sim crashed, it did it on the pre-flight. But ACARS menu. I wonder. Yeah. Can't get any information. But anyway, we'd be looking at the weather in Miami already. Let's look at Navigraph. Okay. What happened to my flight? Airports. Miami. I think I've loaded this 3 times, right? Charts. Bluefin arrival. Bluefish arrival. And that is almost unreadable, isn't it? let me see something here. Wow, you realize how old I am. Okay, went more better there. All right, got wallop at 24 or above, chicken at 20 or above. Chicken at 22. Wallop 24 above, chicken at 22 and above. Guild at or above 17. Guild at or above 17. Energy below 16. 16. We got I'm just checking the arrival, guys. Cash are 12 and 250. Cash 12 at 250. We catch things all the time that are wrong here. Bluefish at or about 11. Option at 230 and 11. That might be an expect. Oh, that's on the other one. Option 230. Bond at or above 9. That's going the other way. So that's going to 27s. Gucci Porsche at or above 8. Dela at or above 6. Porsche at or above 8. Dela at or above 6. 8, 6. Mocha down to 4. Okay, so the arrival checks, and that leaves you on a high downwind for runway 12 up here. So that'll be radar vectors after that. All right, so we looked at the arrival. Let's look at the approach. Going to plan on ILS. Actually, let's go to why don't we plan? Let's do a localizer. I'll do an LNAV VNAV for 8. Let's just go to 8 right. We'll do an ILS 8 right. Because there's not going to be any traffic. If there's traffic, if there's ATC down there, it may be runway 12. Decision altitude is 450. Let's put that in. I'll look at chat in a second, guys. Got a ways to go. Setting the DA. $450. We'll look at that in a minute. Let me go pay attention to chat over here. Yeah, so Benchy, those are my emergencies. Captain Shake Oatmeal. Hey, just join your Discord if you need. You still help with anything streaming. Yeah, buddy. Keep the suggestions coming, Cap. Leo Stranger, yep, April 2nd, there you go. Pew, these reports have lots of info included. I definitely know which they left these things. Yeah, that's all. There's public information, Leo. So the event I just told you about with the MD-11 evacuation, you look outside for a while. There's Benchy down there. Benchy. Doing good, bud. And is now flying for FedEx. Under that, that airplane. Benchy's saying that they had that aircraft that we ground evac is now flying for FedEx. So here's the thing on that, guys. In fairness to us for ground evacing, there are incidents on DC-10s, L-1011s, aircraft with the engines up in the tail of the aircraft burning to the ground. You get a tailpipe fire uncontained, and it gets up in the overheads. You don't know where that fire is coming from. People have died in those 3-engine airplanes. So as an MD-11 pilot, you didn't want to hear the fire wasn't going out. You weren't going to wait around and say, why don't we wait another minute? Because that minute the cabin can fill with smoke, you get invalids. So I still believe we did the right thing ground evacuating, 100%. Both bottles were blown. and the fire was reportedly still going. We got out. People did get hurt though. We didn't know that. We didn't know that those high rate discharge slides were going to hurt people. Might have weighed on us a little bit. Maybe we would have made a different decision. Load the chart by itself, not the overlay. Thanks, Mark. I'll fix that. Benchy, you can still see it without the green route thing on. Okay, that's good. I'll fix it. Yeah, the look beautiful with the chrome livery. Yeah, American Airlines. For those who don't know what Leo's talking about, American Airlines used to, when I got hired in 1987, had a chrome paint job. No paint other than American and the little insignia. The idea was they did that and it saved them, I don't know how many thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars a year, because the paint is very heavy. They also took olives off the salads to save themselves $500,000 or some ridiculous thing. So they were always looking for cost cutting. The reason we went from chrome to this paint job back 10 years ago, 12 years ago now, I think it was 10 years ago, was for marketing, get a more up-to-date market. But also, a lot of the aircraft were being built with composite, so that silver paint job didn't look good because the panels came out, they were all mismatched. So that drove it too for looks. But it was also part of our marketing package. My sim is starting to make some funny noises. I hope we don't crash. The same MD-11 had an accident, this is from Chris, in 1996. The pilot tried to manually override the descent, pulled 3Gs and hurt someone in the restroom. Yes, that Air MD-11, I knew the captain, I knew the co-pilot who actually, they were descending to cross trade at 24 coming back from London, and the captain, FO was flying, who was a fighter pilot in the Air Force, in my opinion, doing a great job. And the captain said, whoa, we're not that big a hurry. And the captain pulled back on the yoke, and an elderly woman, 80 years old, was in the bathroom, bounced her off the ceiling. And they sent him down for remedial training down in Dallas, and he retired early. He broke his heart. He never hurt anyone or the damage, and he retired almost in disgrace. And he was a wonderful guy, and that was pretty sad. The woman ended up being fine. Yeah, Leo. Yeah, Leo has the MD-11 thing. I love the chrome too, Philip. Everyone did, but it probably was with the composite materials coming out. Freaky D could tell us more about that. I'm starting to pass our boy Benchy. Looks like he's moving in. Here you are, buddy. Sorry I don't have that aircraft identification package, so you don't come out what you really look like. See ya? Make you guys sick. There we are. Yeah, so for those of you that don't fly with me very often, I'm new to the sim world. I'm getting a lot of help from our community. There's only 535 of us, but we're real close. We support each other a lot. If you sound like that's something you want to be part of, please subscribe and join our Discord. Benchy set me up in a Discord. I don't know how to use it, but we're going to exchange ideas. The idea would be to grow that where we can do private messages and exchange information. So where are we? We are landing at 1903. Present time 17:22, so about an hour 40 until landing. Do you turn the seatbelt sign? Now, what I should have been doing here is making a, thank you for reminding me, out of 10 I should have de-sterilized them. And when he leveled off, make a PA, it goes something like this. It said, welcome aboard from the flight deck, ladies and gentlemen. It's Captain Richard and Silent Bob. We're your flight crew today as we fly down to Miami. Estimating an early arrival today. Right now we're planning on touching down at 10:20 local. Our scheduled arrival was 10:50, so we should be at the gate approximately 15 to 20 minutes early. For those of you making connections, should have a very comfortable walk to your connecting flights. The weather in Miami, presently clear skies, 72 degrees, about 22 degrees Celsius, and the winds are out of the east at 10 miles per hour. Seatbelt sign is off. You're free to move about the cabin. We do require, however, that while it's your seat, you keep your seatbelts fastened securely about you at all times. We'll come back on approximately 25 minutes before landing to give you the most current weather as well as the proposed landing time. Once again, welcome aboard. That's it. I probably will be able to still do one of those 40 years after I retire. Bench, you think you're going to Disney World. All right, so you're connecting to Orlando. Benchy, yeah, we are. Benchy. All right, I like to keep this heading. There's a good reason for it. If you ever get assigned a heading short notice, which happens with ATC, by the way, there is still no controllers in range. So it's about the weakest VATSIM flight we're ever going to see. When you have the time, would you want to do some landing challenges in Microsoft Flight Simulator? Absolutely. I've done a bunch of them, but I should stream them. Embarrass myself, right? Yeah. Chris is recommending Mach 2 to Benchy to get to Disney World. Something like a fun video. Yeah. I know. Yeah, did you see my video? Did you guys see my little PowerPoint on how I got into the flight sim thing? It didn't get many views. It's out there. I thought it was pretty funny. The first one I had to take off the air because I used Willie Nelson and they copyrighted it. So I had to make another one. So between the two of them, I think I got like 300 views. But yeah, that was fun. I had a fun thing. Northwood Central Dave wanted to find an airfield. We tried to find that. I've done a couple of fun things, but I guess I'm just not very fun. Yeah, thanks. You like that? I guess I was looking for compliments. When the 777 comes to Microsoft Flight Simulator, you fly more. When the 777 comes to Microsoft, I am only over here on P3 because of the 777. Captain Shaquille Oatmeal. I was having trouble. I was flying the A310, MD-11, 767, 737, doing instructional videos on those, typewriting myself in them, having a blast. And I would go to work and it'd be like, do I push that button? Do I pull it? Is that profile? Is that VNAV? Is it LNAV? Is it NAV? So I had to stop it. I thought, you know what? I retire in September. I'm going to go find this study level 777 and fly it exclusively. So starting in September when I retire, I'll be doing all that other stuff again. I really enjoyed it. But yes, 100%, these guys all know I will absolutely be going over to Microsoft Flight Simulator when the PMDG 777 finally arrives. I volunteered to be in that program. They haven't called me. Yeah, so yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator is what I'm waiting for. Oh, it says no electronic sign. I guess that's okay. I'll leave that. Usually we leave that in auto. It stays off. Oh, Charlotte. So Charlotte popped up, but it's just ground in ATIS. So far nothing. And I know I'll get a message if they want to talk to me. Starting to catch you, Benchy. Guess you're going to let me go first. So I've got my star all arranged into Miami. Don't know which runway they're using. I guess I could set up the ATIS. Now, let me try to fix this, guys. Hold on a second. Overlays. Is that this? Get rid of the overlays. Is that it? Oh, that is better. How did I do that? Let me see something. What's that? Roads, power lines, yeah. Now I've done it, right? Okay, so let's continue briefing this bad boy. We're anticipating the ILS. We're going to ask if no one's down there, guys, we'll do the ILS to 8 right. And the reason is ILS to 8 right is we would land clear. We're going to D30 and taxi D30 parking bays is right here. So we would clear probably at Mike 9 and get right into D30, just a short taxi. Not that I don't want to be with you guys longer, but I think by then you'll be tired of it. The truth is, coming from the north, typically they put you on 12, hold short of the 9 right, and you clear about uniform, left on Papa, right on Whiskey, right on November for spot 8 into D30. They usually won't let you land on 8. That's usually a departing runway. Sometimes they'll give you the visual, which is a localizer to 8 left, hold short of the 8 right, and L9, hold short here, and we'd head in spot 7 or 8 to gate D30. Benchy was asking about ramp. There is a 3095 ramp frequency. .3095, that's the Miami ramp. We would have that set. We would actually be monitoring, as you guys know, right now in the real airplane, guard at all times on our other radio, and have that toggled up. I'll put Tower Freak in just in case Miami Tower. Oh, by the way, I'll do an instructional video on the electronic flight bag when I understand it. ATIS approach. You just look at the ATIS here. ATIS 1915. That's ramp. Move that over. We won't monitor guard, guys. They're not going to use it on VATSIM. 1915 is the Miami ATIS. There's no VATSIM ATIS up that we know of. Maybe it will be. Get to do some radio calls. But we'll leave. We'll put Miami, so maybe it'll con the air here in about 40 minutes. All right. Let me see. Have you flown the MD-82? Yes. That was my initial captain upgrade, Scott. So here's my deal with American. So I got hired. I flew nothing sexy in the Air Force. I was T-37 instructor for 5 years, and then tankers for 2 years. Got out, and I got hired as a 7.2 engineer. Did that for about 6 months, then went to Toulouse, France on the A300, the 300-600, which is an A310 type rating. It's a stretch version of 300-600. Flew that for about 5 years. Went to the MD-11 as a co-pilot. Flew that for a few years. We got rid of that in New York. I went to back to the Airbus for a year. Upgraded in 1997 on the MD-80. And answer your question, we don't have MD-82s. That's Delta has a lot of those. We had MD-80s. And I flew that for a couple thousand hours. I was actually an instructor pilot on that on line checks for a couple of years. And I flew that for 4 or 5 years. And then I went to the 7.6 for 15 years, 7.6, 7.5 as a captain. Then I went back to the 7.337 to be senior. I got tired of being on reserve on the 7.6 off and on. And so I was senior in the 7.3, loved that. But then I came to the 2018, I came over to the 777. I have a couple of thousand hours on the 777. That's currently what I'm flying on. All of that was out of New York. I've been living in Connecticut my whole life, since I got hired, since I came out of the Air Force. I'm originally from Rhode Island. One guy told me I sounded like Donald Trump. Donald Trump's got a New York accent. It's a Rhode Island accent. You should hear me when I have a beer. It's really thick. So yeah, I instructed on it with American for a couple of years too. I loved it. My first captain airplane with American, so it was near and dear to my heart. A little funky, you know, the way things, you had to kind of do a couple of things to kind of game the flight panel. And when I came on, we had all round dials. I brought we called them Pegasus onto the airplane, the box. Of course, I had years on the box, but so it was pretty easy transition for me. We used to cross tune just like the radials, and that was in like 97 through 99, and then we went to all glass cockpit. By the time I got off it in 2002, it was all glass cockpits. There's a couple of round dials left. All right, Mark says, pin the chart to the bottom bar. I'm about to overtake you. What speed are you doing? Benchy, I'm doing Mach 8.3, true airspeed of 475. Mach 8.3, true airspeed 475. Yeah, I'll get out of your way here. Let me do something. I'll go Mach 86, and I'll put a little space so we have spacing for the arrival. Is that what you want to do? That's right up there. It's smooth air, so I'm not worried about it. You wouldn't ride this close to the hook in bumpy air. You'd want to keep it split. I'm good? Okay, buddy. I'll go back to A3 then. Just don't want to sit on you on the descent. All right, Mark. You're going to see how bad I am at this stuff. So you say pin the chart to the bottom bar. All right. Pin the chart to the bottom bar. So I'm going to pin a couple of charts. 8 left. Ah, thank you, buddy. That's good. And I'm going to pin 8 right. All right. 8 left. If they have a controller down there, that's probably what they're going to give. Right now I see Charlotte and Philly. Nothing else for Miami yet. They're going to probably... Oh, you know what? Let's go to VATSPY. Let's go to VATSPY. I forgot we can do this stuff in here. Oh, man. Oh, that's not Miami, though, is it? Oh, is it Miami? They have ATIS and ground. Yeah. So they have ATIS and ground going in here. So we're in a Unicom arrival. Maybe that's good indication. So when we land, we'll definitely be going to ground. So right now, if they don't bother us, Benchy, let's do the ILS 8 right. And I'll park at G30. You want to park next to me? Whatever gate you want. Let's see. Gate, wherever you want. Maybe D29, D28. So we'll go 8 right. We'll get off at Mike 9. 8 right. Get off at like Mike 9. And spot 7 would be your ramp and taxi. And I'll go to 30. You go to 28. And I'll buy you, there's a real good Cuban restaurant, La Carreta, right about in here. I'll get you some Mexican food. And maybe leche con leche, cafe con leche at the Cuban restaurant. A lot of Cuban food in here. And then I have to go walk the dog. Very fun, very fun. Okay, back to the grind. I gotta get YouTube back up here, guys. Okay, there it is. Cool. All right, we'll do that. So we'll land and we'll clear and we'll go to that those 2 gates, like a Thunderbird arrival. Thunderbird's the Air Force demonstration team. So went to my son's wedding this weekend. Made a speech. Made it through it. I married a wonderful girl. You know. For those of you not from America, there's the North and the South with the Civil War. Back in 1863, I think it ended. Both my sons have married Southern girls. So we're Yankees, born and raised in the Northeast. And they both married wonderful Southern women. Only because they were based down there. My kids are interesting. I have 2 that went to West Point. They're Army officers. I can't tell you what they do, but it's the cool stuff. My 3rd son is a software engineer. I'm divorced and remarried, by the way, the Brady Bunch. 6 kids. Software engineer in Manhattan, the financial industry. My daughter's graduating next week, and I'm going back to Nashville. She's going to be a Army doctor, ear, nose, and throat surgeon. She's starting her residency. And then I have 2 stepkids who are equally as successful. One lives near us and is a senior manager at a corporation, and another one's out in Dallas. And she's an event planner for a major corporation. And I have 5 grandkids. So I need to retire in September. I need to take care of my family, take care of my mother. I'm tempted to go fly for cargo outfit or charter or contract pilot or corporate. But I don't need the money that bad. And I should probably stay home and take care of my family. So that's my plan. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So when are we going to start our descent? Now Logan missed this. We're doing this all for Logan. Logan wanted me to fly American Airlines 777 from Miami, from Kennedy to Miami, a real flight, flight 320. And so I didn't tell him I was going to do it. Captain Shaquille O'Neal, you all adopting? No. Oh. No, buddy. I wouldn't adopt, though. But I would help you with your rent if you moved next door, if you would fix my computers. Y'all adopting. We did get a golden retriever. Yeah, thanks, Philip. I am proud, Dad. And honestly, I did nothing, as I said in my speech. I helped them with some term papers periodically. They were just all self-starters. They always were self-starters. All my kids. Very easy kids. They're a much easier kid than I was. And I was a pretty good kid. Not really, but they still were all-American, red-blooded American boys. Yep. Let me see. Let's get Father Time to 10,000 subs. Captain, Carjan, Florin. That'd be cool. I'm happy with what I got, but that would be cool. Help me with some ground school stuff. I'll have the PC running good as gold. Okay, buddy. I don't think you want to get involved with that. Benji, tell him. Don't come anywhere near me. I am handicapped. Not that there's anything wrong with that. See how I'm looking today. Pretty easy without VATSIM squawking, huh? Here I am. I wish I looked that young. Good. Hey, flying with my brother Bob. I love this sim stuff, man. Yeah, I can't wait till this airplane gets over to the M3, over to Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's why I came here. All my original guys, the first 20, you know who you are. They know why I'm over here, just to try to do this stuff. It's fun to help with computers. Thanks, Benchy. Everyone, all you guys, a lot of them are here, been helping me like crazy. Yeah, I usually try to keep these things on shorter flights because I don't want to bore you with my stories and everything, but I guess that's what this is for, the stream stuff. It's to interchange as a community, get to ask some questions and answer real time. See me looking over here, I keep checking. I know I'll get a warning, but I'm afraid I'll miss it. I'm VATSIM frightened. All right, Mark, thanks, buddy. Really appreciate everything. I'll see you soon, man. You like the stories, Benchy? Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Leo. Yeah, that's I got a million of them. Some of them I'll have to tell you in private. Not you, Benchy. You're too young, but you know, man. With the aviation stories, you know, I've mentioned this before. For anyone watching that doesn't usually watch me, I retire in September. And it's a funny thing about retiring and being a pilot, as anybody here who's a pilot knows, you don't remember your nice landings. You don't remember the time that you did something great to get people through the airplane through a precarious situation or a weather situation. What you remember is the things you did not great and made the mistakes you made from the time you first started flying to the time you retired. You remember your bad landings. You remember your missteps, your forgotten things. You remember not starting the engines on pushback, which I've never done, or putting the flaps down, which I've never done till today. You remember all those things, and that's every pilot. Oh, Benchy, what do I mean about that, buddy? No, there's some off-color stories that you don't tell a 16-year-old. As a matter of fact, I probably shouldn't tell anyone. I told the guys that I would tell stories, a lot of them, but some of them have to be off camera, because, you know, Benchy, no, Ash, I'm not going to tell you, buddy. I shouldn't. What I mean is they're inappropriate to tell the people at times. All right, man. Certain ages. Yeah. Yeah, Carjan. those are in there too, right? So a lot of fun stuff like that. But the aviation part of it, you remember all those things that you screwed up. So when someone tells you, hey, you're a great captain, you're a great job, all that you remember is the things you didn't do right. Almost every pilot feels that way if you get them honest. And almost every pilot, if you put a couple of beers in them, put them in the back room, sit down with you, and ask them about their things that they did bad, they will have a bunch of stories to tell you the mistakes they made, the mistakes they learned from. Therefore, part of the deal with evolving the benchy and guys who are looking to get your hours, stay humble, learn from others' mistakes, and always remember it could have been you on any given day. And I've talked about that before, but it's so true, and I'm going to remember that when I retire. I'll be proud that I had a wonderful career and raised great kids, but I'll remember also that I made some mistakes in my time, in my personal life, in my professional life. So it keeps you humble. None of us here in chat are perfect by any means, right? So we all put on our pants one leg at a time, you know. Hey, that's what checklists are for. No one is perfect. Yeah. What's the worst landing you've ever done? Oh, want to hear about the most embarrassing, Benchy? Well, first of all, Captain, Carjan Florin, have you ever heard of a pilot doing what Denzel Washington does in the flight movie? That is the worst movie. That aircraft would flame out and come apart. This thing is like -1 G. You put in -4 Gs to keep that thing upside down, your wings come off, your engines. No, yeah, that was a baloney movie. Sully movie was very, very well done, and I'll tell a story sometime about how that was so accurate. But Benchy, worst landing I've ever done? I've done a lot of really firm landings. But the most embarrassing one is I had my neighbors from my childhood on board a New York to San Juan flight. They had come down from Rhode Island, and my mother said, "Hey, the Hickeys are on your flight. They're long since passed away, and they were elderly back then, and they were back there." And I made a PA explaining, and I came in, and I smashed on the landing, and I had asked them to stay on and I come back and say goodbye, and they looked like terrified of me when I came back there. Like, oh my God, they knew me when I was a little kid, and I guess I flew like I was still one. That was the most embarrassing. I've done a few like that. I've done. I think you said, what's the worst landing? I've made some bad decisions on approaches I should have gone around, and I didn't. We have a no-fault go-around policy, meaning go around, there's no problem. I've tried to salvage approaches when I shouldn't. In the Air Force especially, but even in the airlines, it's, not lately. I'm much wiser than that. But, no pilot likes to go around, and we don't practice it very often. We're actually intimidated about going around. But I've landed some airplanes that I should have taken around. Nowadays, it's all electronically monitored. And if you don't go around and you're unstable on final, meet certain parameters, we have a guy called Gatekeeper that will call you from the union and say, file a report on that. They watch you like a hawk. So they kind of mandated responsible behavior. I'm all ears. Worst landing, yeah, buddy. I have a bunch of them. Slice of pie is humble, always good. Yeah. Life is one big humble pie, isn't it? That's right. Carjan Florin. He wasn't talking about the negative G's. He was talking about the drinking and the white powder. I swear to God, if you believe in God, which I do, I had never, ever known a pilot in my 44 years of flying that has used cocaine. Positive they're out there, I'm sure. Never have known one. I have known pilots that were alcoholics. I have never had a pilot, to the best of my knowledge, show up incapacitated or still under the influence of alcohol. I'm sure maybe they have, not my experience. On the layover where we self-police, anybody plays with that duty rest or alcohol and duty rest, they're not flying the next day if you're around. You're not going to turn them into the company, usually. You tell them to call in sick, and you refer them usually to professional standards. They'll get them some help. But if you get to the company, they try to they'll get fired. So they get a problem. If we see that ever happen, we would say, hey, Bob, call in sick, buddy. You're not prepared to fly. That is highly, highly policed within the airline industry. So, as I believe in the Denzel flight movie, the crew was tolerating that, and absolutely, 100% would not be tolerated in the airlines. Never. So that was baloney too. That's the truth. Yep, I hated that movie because it didn't paint us in the correct thing. So let me tell one last story on those lines about the Sully movie. So the Sully movie. First of all, I was on TV. I landed, and a news anchor that I had met at a party called me up and said, it's Ann Nyberg from WTNH in New Haven, Connecticut. Would you be willing to talk about the U.S. Air flight that landed in the river today? And I said, what U.S. Air flight? What river? She said, well, go on the news. It's all over the news. Educate yourselves. I'll call you back in 20 minutes. You'll be on the air. I said, okay. So I went on the news, and sure enough, I found out about it. And I came on, and I did a really good job on the first interview. And then she said, oh, well, you should be a permanent guest speaker for us. My son was walking around the house. I think he was like, what year was that? It was like 7 or 8, 10 maybe. He said, hey, Mom, I think Dad's on the TV. He heard my voice. They were watching the news about Sully. And I was. And then, sure enough, they said, well, pull over halfway home. We're going to put you on the late news, too. We're going to come over. We're going to have a film crew meet you and put you on the late news. So the film crew came out. They interviewed me on the late news. I was in uniform. And they used it on the late news. They never called me again. So I don't think I did as well on the late news. But anyway, Sully landed in the river. He was an unbelievable role model and representative for our pilot group. We're not all as sharp. We're not all as good looking. We're not all as trim. He's a straight-laced guy. You know, American is merged with U.S. Air. He was a U.S. Air pilot. So I have not met, no, Benchy, I have not met him. But I've met the guy who was the union rep. Do you remember in the movie the union representative who brought him in the hotel his uniform? That guy now flies for American. And he told me that Tom Hanks collaborated with Sully, Miracle on the Hudson, that's right, Karjan, collaborated with Sully, and Tom Hanks said, if it's not accurate, if Sully says it's not accurate, it's not going in the movie. Now, you know how Hollywood likes to Denzel Washington it, right? And at certain times, the producers tried to, or the directors tried to add drama where there wasn't any, or inaccuracies, and Sully said that didn't happen, and Tom Hanks said, we're not doing that. Now, he's an A-list actor who has that kind of power. A B-list actor probably would have had to go with it. But therefore, that Sully movie was, from an aviation standpoint, one of the few movies that I felt was highly accurate. And that's why, I found out years later why. It's that Sully had a direct hand in that movie through Tom Hanks. That's that story. How long till the top of descent? There it is. So you still got about 40 minutes to go. Now, I hope you guys are finding this interesting. It's a lot of time to kill. That's why, like that Gatwick to Manchester flight, or Heathrow to Manchester, Bradley to Kennedy, it's real quick. You basically get up, level off, brief it up, and go. This is fun because we get to chat it up. Hey, Northwood Dave, one of my original guys, absolutely favorite of mine too, and it should comfort you to know how accurate it is. And I don't know if Sully mentioned that in his book. The union rep told me, who was good friends with Sully, that when Tom Hanks would not allow any deviations from Sully's without Sully's approval. They tried to over dramatize the hearings, and they presented those as accurate as possible. The events, the cockpit communications, they tried to intervene and make them more spicy going along, and they wouldn't allow that to happen. Yeah, I think so too, Benchy. I was talking to you about that yesterday when we were trying to decide on Discord what to do. This is a long flight, but I'm doing this for my guy Logan, who's asked me a couple of times to do this particular flight. And the reason we didn't want to do it is, number one, they don't have a lot of VATSIM coverage for controllers at most hours. And number two, it's a long time to kill. So Dr. Dave, I actually have a birthday present coming in. Hour in a full motion Airbus replicating the miracle. Oh, get out. That is cool. That is cool, Dr. Dave. That's a birthday present. I once knew a co-pilot, though, that's going to beat you on this one, okay? Remember, I'm 100, so I have more stories than anyone. I know a guy who dated a TV talk show person who I guess will have to go unnamed. They didn't get married, but he dated her. He was like he's one of our more studly pilots. Met her on a flight. She's very famous. And he was sort of eye candy. She was divorced and older, and she bought him a P-51 type rating. He got 10 flights in the P-51. That was his birthday present. I think they did it in Pennsylvania. He's now about my seniority with American. That was many, many years ago. How's that for a birthday present? I ask for it every year, and I get a shirt and a tie, and sometimes some slippers. Your wife bought that? Get out. I'm going to tell my wife that. She needs to step up her game. No more shirts. Now, my wife's very generous. She'll get me whatever I want. She's awesome. Awesome. The jury's out on the sign. She thinks it's kind of tacky. She likes that I talk to you guys. She likes that I make the thing. She's fine as long as I do it in certain times of the day when I'm not interfering with what we need to do here. But the sign, she thought it crossed the line with the sign. I disagree. I think it's kind of a good marketing thing, and we are trying to market ourselves and get enough subscribers, get our community growing. I don't know much about YouTube, but I do know you really don't make much money unless you get up into the really big numbers. And for me to do that, I'm going to bounce something off you guys. Thanks, Benchy. I'd like the sign too. Maybe I should. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. Yeah. I was going to mention something, but I think I'll hold off on that right now. All right, now I'm going to say it. Listen, Chris, don't leave yet. This is important. Wait till you hear this one. So, I fly with Blanco Lorio. You guys know who he is? Right? He's Juan Brown, one of our pilots. I flew with him. He got me to stream. He got me to do this stuff. He does accident investigation, but he just does the facts. He said he used to do a bunch of Northwood Dave, we're going to Miami, buddy, out of New York, long stream. He said he was just doing how to fix my car videos, how to put in a Nest thermostat, things like that, because he was handy, he had fun with it. And one day he did an evaluation on an accident, just only facts. He's very factual, and his viewership went to see. Now if he puts on, I'm going to go wash my hands in the sink, he gets 85,000 viewers. But he goes around, he gets every accident, evaluates them on the evasion, informs you on the information. Blanco Lorio, you should go to him after you go here. If I go that route, should I go that route where I have a lot to offer on events, but you know the thing is, for liability's sake, you don't want to really give your opinion, just the facts. And I don't want to step on his turf. There's a lot of guys doing it, but it increases your viewership. But I feel a little predatory, and the reason is, in a lot of these accidents, people have died or been injured, and it's sort of like an ambulance chaser. Juan does it very nice. Bronco Loria does it very nice, but I obviously would have a lot to offer on incidents around the airfield, reporting on and letting you interpret flight plan routes. Should I do some of that? An MH Malaysian Air evaluation or things like that. I hesitate to go there, although it would increase my viewership. I do notice that if you put something spectacular, burn some money, build a cockpit. Hold on. I shouldn't mess with this, should I? Anyway, I have a little cockpit. It's not working right now. It was working great on Microsoft Flight Simulator, but I noticed P3D, my Logitech panels don't work, so I'm doing everything just manually. Anyway, I don't want to be an ambulance chaser. Yeah, Blanco's cool. He's a good guy, too. He's a good guy to fly with, sharp guy. Yeah, Leo, I thought about that. I had a couple of opinions, and I've since found out I was wrong about that, so, buyer beware. You get out there, and, the more I look at it, I thought it was one thing, and maybe it's another. So, you got to be careful giving your opinions. I didn't talk to Blanco Lorio about that, but liability-wise, you got to be careful with that stuff. You can lose your house by saying inappropriate things or making inappropriate judgments out of school without an education on the topic. Yeah, Chris, thanks for hanging around. I know you were running. That's what I wanted to ask you. Thank you for sticking around. Yes, and he does it right because he just documents and he explains why it happens. He does not really give an opinion. He doesn't say this guy messed up, that guy messed up. He's just the facts. And a video editor would also be needed, absolutely. And Leo says, I agree, it's still taboo in some way. Yes, and that's why I avoid it. Thanks, Chris. We'll catch you later, buddy. I don't want to be an ambulance chaser. I know you guys would find it fascinating having me interpret the flight data or something like that, which you can probably do too. But Blanco already does that, and he does it in a very good way. And I don't want to do anything to jeopardize my house. So I'm not going to get in trouble sitting here chit-chatting with you guys, but I could get in trouble giving my opinion on aircraft accidents. So anyway, I don't think I'm going to do it ever. So I'll keep trying to find ways. I'll do instruction. I'll do some fun stuff where it comes up, and I'll get over to Microsoft Flight Simulator as soon as this airplane makes it over there, or I retire. Yeah, long stream for this one. What do you think about mentor pilot? Mentor pilot. I know what a mentor is, obviously. Oh, I don't know him. I don't know him. I will have to mentor. I'll look him up. Mentor pilot. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, good test. Yeah, thanks, Dave. Dave, you weren't here earlier. We started off the stream, and it crashed. My thing crashed. I had to start over, which is one of the reasons I don't like live streaming. This is the main reason I do like it, back and forth. And then I taxied out. Remember the last one when I didn't start my engines? This one I didn't put my flaps down just prior to takeoff. Normally I just redo the video. You guys see that too, but it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, Scott, real life experience and type procedures as much as it's cool for me. 74 gear, Carjan, I'll look that up. 74 gear. I'll watch them and see what I think. I'm always interested. To be honest with you, I don't watch a lot of streamers. I used to watch them on the shooting games when I played Call of Duty with my kids to try to find out how to do it better. Yeah, real life clips. So funny. Yeah, I'll do a little bit of everything. I think my strength, though, if we're honest, is in instructional, explaining how to do something. It's not in. I'm not real good with making a cool video, landing outside, inside. I'll get better at it. Where you're coming in and you cut to the outside for the landing, and I don't know how to do that stuff. I'm getting better at that. I need to expend a lot of energy on improving my product before I expand too much more. But I'll probably stick to VATSIM live streams, instructional videos, and when Microsoft Flight Simulator PMDG 777 comes out, I'll have a series ready for that. Big Jet. I've watched Big Jet, Northwood Dave. I got to tell you, that's genius. I thought the greatest thing would be to sit at Kennedy, rent an apartment that's off the end of the runway, which no one wants. So probably pick it up for a couple of $1,000s a month, and run a live stream at Kennedy Airport and do what they do at Kennedy. No one does it, right? They do it at Heathrow. Do one at Kennedy, but the problem is I live 2 hours from Kennedy, and but get a bunch of retired airline pilots to do it with me, and I thought about that because those guys, Big Jet TV, where they do the live stream from Heathrow, that's cool. And your guests are all pilots and you're talking. I like that. I really would like to do that for retirement, is sit there on the end of the runway, sipping a coffee and commenting on the aircraft, live streaming it. I'm not sure, U.S. is a different place. They may not let me do that for security reasons. They may shut me down if I did it. Scott, things like long or short haul, what do you prefer? Long haul, because it's less trips to the airport. I can fly 3 trips to the airport and get paid 90 hours of flight pay, where if I was on the short haul 737, I'd probably have to make 5 trips to the airport, and the most dangerous thing that a New York pilot does is drive back and forth to work, by far, in the New York traffic, in all sorts of weather, and all sorts of lack of rest. Watch this, I'll probably fly right over the airport after all this, like those Northwest guys that flew over Minneapolis. I prefer long haul only, Scott, because of what it affords your schedule. It's tough on the body. You're flying all night. You come home, you're out of sorts. Your wife or your family will definitely notice that you're not quite yourself. Your first day you really feel good is today you have to go back to work. But for that commute, I like the long haul. Do senior pilots really fly for less hours or more money? Money. Generally, it's about the money. There are some guys who get on the 7-3 and that's all they fly the whole career. But most guys chase the money. 777X LA flights is similar. Live streams 777X. Oh, yeah, I saw that. LA flights, 777X. I saw that. It's like a studio with interviews. Yeah, I like that. Kennedy doesn't have one. But no, in New York, they come over and tax me like $1 million a day. All right. Captain Flora, my opinion is you have a lot to offer in so many areas that as if you're willing to do that. Karjan Flora, and I absolutely, for some reason, I'm having trouble saying that your name. I am willing to do that. That's what I bring to the table. Only costs me a few hours a day. I enjoy it. I'll continue to do it. And if the channel gets more and more viewers, and some point it becomes an income stream, I'll be shocked, because you really have to get a lot, tens of thousands of viewers to make any money at this. So I'm nowhere near that, but I'm enjoying it, and it's a great hobby. And as one of my viewers said, I don't golf. So differences between the 200 and 300. Max takeoff weight 640. 638 for the 200, 775 for the 300. The 200 can go right up to cruise altitude. If you take off at max gross weight, you can cruise out about 35,000. The 300, if you're at max takeoff weight 775, you'll be stuck down around 30. But the 200, you can cross the North Atlantic always at 37, 38, 40. The 300, you're down sometimes around 31, 33. So for thunderstorm avoidance or turbulence, you have less flexibility. It's the wing. The engine's on the 777-300, and Freaky D 777, our resident Boeing engineer, could explain this better. The 777-300 goes right up to altitude. It climbs at 1,500 feet per minute right up to its max cruise. It's wing limited. I understand on the 777X that's corrected. It runs out of wing. The 200 never runs out of wing, runs out of engine. But not until you reach real high altitudes. That's it. The 300 landing, they fly about the same. Landing, you break the sink at around 40 feet in the 300. You break the sink in the 200 around 30 feet. You start breaking the sink, flaring. There's a camera on the 300 that you can watch yourself taxi because it's so long. Other than that, they're same landing picture, almost identical. Yeah, thanks, Dave. Yeah, I definitely will watch the those guys. I know he does a lot of interviews with those guys. That's something I think I would do well at, is a station interview people. If I did it out of the Kennedy area, I'd have to run that by my wife. That's a pretty big commitment for a guy with all the kids and my mother's still around, you know. So, but I would love to do that. And the amount of retired pilots and active pilots that I could bring on for interviews and commentary is without limits. I could get all the FAA in and the air traffic controllers. It would be quite a show, and we'd do really well. But I would have to probably move to that area, Zippy, every day. I would really enjoy that, Dave. 3 engine types on the 200. Well, yes, absolutely. GE Pratt. We have GEs on the 300s and Rolls Royces on the 200s, so I don't deal with the Pratt & Whitneys on my aircraft. But yeah, there are 3 engine types. Freaky D was telling me the Rolls Royces, which I didn't know, you both start both engines at the same time. GEs and the Pratt & Whitneys are one at a time. Vince says, okay, I'm back. Welcome back, buddy. Hey, Camry, welcome, buddy. That Ultimate Camry. Yeah, that's we're well into it. It's a long flight. We did it for Logan, who's not here today. He's been asking me to do this Kennedy to Miami. So we're filling up the time with a lot of stories and interactions. So it's kind of cool. There's no VATSIM. There was no VATSIM. We're on VATSIM. By the way, I'm flying with my guy Benchy here. He's out there somewhere. Where are you, buddy? Oh. Didn't mean to do that. Oh, my happy fingers, right? You might be behind me by now. There he is. Benchy. Anyway, I'm flying with Benchy today. We took off together out of Kennedy. Benchy's helping me with our Discord channel. And going down to Miami, I don't know yet where they're landing. I guess I could do there's no Vetus up. But welcome. I see you, Benchy, 10 miles behind, buddy. Carjan Florin, random question. How many different airplanes do you think you've flown in your entire career? Well, that's easy. Real easy. I flew the T-41 in pilot evaluation when I was at the academy. I flew the T-37, T-38, 727 only as an engineer, MD-80, Airbus A310 as a captain, MD as a first officer, which is we had the 300 S600, MD-11 as a first officer, MD-80 as a captain, 737 as a captain, 76, 75, and 777. So 11 airplanes I've flown. I tended to move up as soon as I could. Some guys have flown 3 airplanes with the airline. I always upgraded as soon as I could. Different people, if you commute a long distance, you might delay your upgrade because you like being senior so you can control your schedule. I didn't. I was a local commuter. I only drove in a couple hours. So I always chased the money. I went after as soon as I could. Hey, LP, he's helped me a lot too. We're flying to Miami out of New York. We're doing it for Logan. He's asked a couple of times. Freaky D's here. Uh-oh. Freaky D's the Boeing engineer who we're trying to get some videos together if he can get a corporate approval. But he's also my adult supervision. He knows everything about this airplane because he freaking built them over the years. So Freaky's in the house, so I have to make sure I know it. Hey, Freaky. Dude, last one I didn't start the engines. I didn't put the flaps out until just prior to takeoff. I know you're going to see that later. Just full disclosure. I caught it, though. I did catch it. Miami went offline. Okay. Yeah, guys, thank you for checking that. And you can start Pratt & Whitney's Rolls Royce simultaneously. Pratt & Whitney's, okay. I rest my case. All right, so GEs you can't. Pratt & Whitney's and Rolls Royce you can top simultaneously. I got it, buddy. Thank you. 20. Oh, I mean like different units. Random question. How many different airplanes do you think you've flown your entire career? Oh my God. Car jam Florida, I don't know. Thousands. Thousands. I mean, we had 600 MD-80s. I was on it for 5 years. We had 400 and something 7.3s. We have 50 something. I don't even have 777s. We fly a different airplane every time, so thousands, buddy. I'm excited to get my water salute. Guys, for those of you, Benchy's asking, for those of you who know what a water salute is, I retire in September 6th to be accurate. My wife's going to go on my last trip with me to Paris. I'm going to fly with all flight attendants and, of course, pilots that I know. We're going to go out for a big dinner and come back and take some sort of vacation with my kids. They're all working, so we're going to rent a place for a month and let them come and go. But when you land your final flight, they do the fire department, if weather permitting and availability permitting, they come out and they shoot simultaneously the water cannons for the fire trucks over. I'll bring my wife up to the cockpit on my final taxi, and yeah, I'm going to film it, by the way. I'll film that. I'll film segments as much as I can with being legal of my final trip, and I'll make a video in the primitive Father Time way, and I'll show it to you guys. That'll be late August, early September. I'll definitely include you guys on that. Yeah, Freaky D, guys, 777 is a Boeing engineer, helped design the pneumatic system, air conditioning pressurization system. He and I did an interview, and somewhere in there, I think it came out, it's a blast. And he's awesome. He's obviously very knowledgeable. Somewhere in there, we kind of said, wait a minute, I wonder if our companies would let us do it. So we decided to go through the channels with our companies, corporate channels, to make sure we had permission. That takes time. If it goes through, Freaky, who should have his own station, actually, and I are going to do some systems evaluation. Next one I'm looking forward to is what makes the 777 so effective. He had a lot to say about that. We didn't get to that. Just explaining systems and operations of the aircraft design. He's the guy. So hopefully we get to that point. Yeah, no, Benchy, I know my last flight, I retire September 6th. Probably around September 1st or September 2nd, I'll take my wife on a 3-day Paris trip. I generally don't go to Paris because it's not long enough. It's not enough flight time. But I'll fly at my last few trips, and we'll take her. And normally when I bring my wife, I take her out shopping and dinner. I'll stay with the crew, and we'll have a great time together. My treat. So if anyone's in Paris, you can come with us. But it'll be flight 44. Oh, what time? That Ultimate Camry opposite end with question. I better make sure I don't overfly. You guys know what happened with that Minneapolis flight where they overflew? They were looking at their computers and overflew Minneapolis. I haven't done that. But maybe they were streaming. What planes do I want to learn in the flight sim once I retire? I was doing a bunch over there at Microsoft Flight Simulator. You can see them on my channel if you want. I did planes that I used to fly. Like I used to fly the Airbus A310. I did a Fennec 320 checkout for myself. I did the MD-11 evaluation, 776 evaluations, A310, 737 evaluations. I used to fly all those except for the A320. I was loving it. So what do I want to do? I want to do them all. I want to do them all. But really looking forward to, the ones I'm most looking forward to, a TMDI MD-11 for Microsoft Flight Simulator, supposed to be study level, PMDG 777, and also a 787 study level aircraft is supposedly coming out soon. I'd like to do that. RJ, let's all get together. Yeah, all right. So if you want to buy all tickets, it makes for a much bigger dinner. Give me a lot of notice because we're going to have to rent an entire hall if you guys all come. We'll have to rent the stadium by then, right? Fly Sky, you're in Paris. That is my wife's favorite city. I think it's every woman's favorite city. It's romantic, and she's with me, so that's saying a lot, right? So she even finds it romantic with me. She loves Paris. She's been a few times. Yeah, Freaky, let's do it, buddy. I would really like to talk to you about that. But I'll be done with this. Maybe later. I got some stuff to do around the house. Maybe later on, text me or something, and we can call and iron out some details. I hope it's good news. What day was the dinner? Oh, Benchy. I don't know. I haven't picked the trip yet. It's Paris. I don't know if I'm going to go the end of August, early September. It depends on our family's needs. But I'll let you know, buddy. Have I seen the TFDI, Boeing 777? Pretty cool, almost like a mini. I heard about it. No, I haven't flown it, or the Boeing 717, but I heard it was fantastic. But if somebody recommended that I use that, I'll do that when I retire too. Hope I got to everything. You know, I watched these streamers on the shooty games, the Warzone, when I used to watch those, and they didn't really have time for chat except in between action. The nice thing about this cruise is we get to interact a little bit on the longer ones. Shorter ones are cool, the live streams, because you take off land, it's all instructional. But if you're streaming live, it is nice to be able to interact. It was funny, you guys are interested in aviation. 6 kids, right? We talked about that. None of them were interested in aviation. Most pilots, most airline pilots' kids are like that. Most. They don't want to go into aviation. I don't know if it's because of the travel, or we make it look too difficult. They don't want to come home cranky and tired, or they don't want to be away from their home that often. I don't know what it is. None of mine wanted to do it. I had a couple of guys go to West Point when they could have gone to the Air Force Academy. They wanted to serve their country, but they did not want to do it in an aviation capacity. And I told them, I said, that's cool, but there's going to be a day where you're going to be getting shot at, and an A-10 is going to come in and drop a 500-pound bomb for you. They'll be drinking beers, and you'll still be getting shot at in that area, and you're going to say, maybe I should have gone into aviation. They told me that was true. Both of them had those experiences. But having said that, I don't know how many of you guys are Army or Army officers, but Army officers compared to Air Force officers, like Marine officers, those guys at 22 years old are commanding troops in combat. At 22 years old, I was still in pilot training. I got out at age 27. At 27-year-olds, I commanded a crew of 4 and a tanker. You know, so they are true leaders. I had a bunch of them at my son's wedding. What an honor to be amongst them. Man. All right. Yeah, you're right. Freaky D, MD-11, I can't wait for TFDI MD-11 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I will absolutely be flying that, and I will make as many bids as I can. I've already been studying it before I decided to back off that stuff. And I did a whole evaluation on the one that's out there, which was not a good deal to buy. I think it was $70 and had a lot of issues. But yeah, the TFDI, I actually contacted them and asked for them to be on the consideration for one of their beta type testers. And they got back to me. They were great, back and forth. They said they had all the testers they could handle right now, but if they did a second wave, they would call me, which means no. But I did volunteer for that. Carjan Florin, I have the Tobii eye tracker right here. I don't run it during streams because, or filming, I find it makes my viewers sick. I like it though when I'm just flying by myself. No, Fly Skies, so the 787 for P3D I understand is great. The KW, Quality Wings, actually 787 for P3D. Those guys are trying to make it for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I actually flew with a guy who's one of the developers for that. They said it's such a long, quote, slog, S-L-O-G, preparing that aircraft for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I didn't ask him why, but I would imagine it has to do with the complexity of their program. But I volunteered to help them with beta, and he said yes. So I think I'm going to be involved with the Microsoft Flight Simulator beta version of the 787 possibly, if I can get my act together. But they did say sure. It's because I had an inside connection. So absolutely. And that one, you guys know that the 787 and the 777, they wanted to have a joint type rating, right, Freaky? I'm reading your thing when I do this. I do believe that Boeing felt that they could be a common type rating, and the FAA said no. Is that correct? Freaky D is our Boeing guy. Yeah, TFTI got right back to me. They were really cool. They were great. PMDG did not answer me. They never do, and they think their poop don't stink. Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I don't know if their poop doesn't stink. I don't know if they think that, but I was laughing at what you said. But yeah, they didn't get back to me at all. You know when they did get back to me? When I was having trouble with my product, they did get back to me. I think they just don't need any more help over there. Those devs, Leo, those devs are pretty much dead at this point. The VP hasn't quite been online in over a year. I'm sorry, buddy. I remember who you're talking to. I'm a child at this stuff. I don't know what those abbreviations mean. Those devs are pretty much those devs. I don't know what that. I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. So, top of descent is in sight. When you're on a Delhi flight and you see that top of descent, oh my God, you're happy. So we're doing 8 miles a minute, so that's 10 miles. So top of descent looks like it's about 13 minutes. Let me see if they can. It's probably still too early. Let me see if I can get my AMI ATIS. Make sure I'm toggled up. It's 1915. I am toggled up. Speakers on. Nope, nothing. Developers. Oh, okay, buddy. Okay, I got you. Got you. Sorry, the developers haven't said word since over a year, and the vice president apparently hasn't visited the Quality Wings forums in over a year. Oh. I'll mention that to him. Maybe I could be their moderator. Hang around the phone. What is this up here? Make sure I didn't get any messages. I saw something up here. I think it was nothing to do with that. All right. Long stream, guys. Long stream, lots of interaction, right? Quality Wings. Yeah, I think that's who he said he was for. Hang on a minute. Quality Wing. Let me see here. See if I can find oh, Nick, hold on a second. I'm looking. Hold on. I'm trying to see who that other developer was. Quality Wings, yeah. That's who he works for, the guy that I flew with. That guy was really sharp. He actually wrote the code. He's an airline pilot on the 777. He's writing the code for the product development. He did the P3D, and he's trying to do it for Microsoft Flight Simulator. He did answer me, but it's only because of us being friends. All right, so if you're just joining us, guys, it's Father Time. We're well into our stream. A couple of hours. Took off out of Kennedy. Cold, dark airplane because my sim crashed. Hours later, we're on our way. We did a little takeoff. I got my guy Benchy right behind me, flying. There he is. He's somewhere out there. Where are you, buddy? About 10 or 15 miles behind. And we're going to land at Miami, go to gate. I'm going to D30. Benchy's going to go to like D28. Park the airplane, call it a day. Yeah, Leo, they are still alive. You're talking about Quality Wings, because I just talked to one of the developers. Why they're not on their forum, I don't know. They are actively working to get the 787 over to Flight Simulator. All right, here's Freaky D. 787 and 777 was the plan to have the same type rating. That's what I heard. Don't know what happened. I worked exactly 0 hours on the 787. Yeah, Freaky D is a Boeing engineer in the 777. Yeah, I'd heard that. I know, like when the 330 and the 340 came out for Airbus, they even wanted the 320, I believe, to be a common type rating with all of them. But the FAA, I heard, Figure, what do I know? FAA shot it down because of there were just enough differences, including the HUD and the FMC. They felt that it shouldn't be a common type rating. But you would know better than me. No, yeah, Leo, no, they're out there, buddy. They're out there. I'll mention it to Nick that guys are thinking that maybe they should be more visible and get out there. They might not have much to tell you. He said they are actively working hard on the Microsoft Flight Simulator version, but he said it's a slog. He said it is laborious. So apparently we're going to start our descent without an ATIS here. I wonder if, I guess I could, and if Miami's not on the air, let me check that spy real quick. Nothing. So nobody's on the air, so I guess we'll just fly it itself. Benchy, so what I'm going to do, buddy, is I'm going to just fly it in LNAV, VNAV, and follow the standard profile, and I'll drop myself in to a left base, runway 8 right, and fly the ILS in, full stop, go to D30, as we briefed earlier. 8 right and Mike 9. If the controllers come on, they're not going to let me do that. They're going to send me to 1 2 or 8 left. This is the departure runway. But unaccosted, I'll land here at 8 right. 8 right. I'm sorry. Clear at Mike 9. Straight ahead, spot 7. We would contact Miami ramp in there once we enter the ramp area, and I'm going to park here at D30, and you're planning on going, I guess, to D28. That's the plan. Unfortunately, not a lot of VATSIM controllers available. Probably should have gone to England. But this is for Logan. Already briefed the approach. If you guys are late to join us, we checked the arrival. We checked the entire star coming in. We're flying the Bluefish arrival. And we cross-checked all the altitudes with our FMC. Sometimes they're wrong. So we cross-checked it all. We're going to be flying to, there he goes, runway 8 left and right. So anyway, it'll be up to a left downwind for left base to 8 right. Miami tends to hold you high, so when you turn this turn here, it's kind of an idle speed brakes descent down. If you go into 1 2, you end up on a little bit of a downwind leg here. They turn you right for left base, but for 8 left, they just take you out and drop you in like that. But it's kind of sporting with traffic controls. There's a lot of idle speed brake stuff going on. So guys, let's say they cleared us on the Bluefish arrival. Right? You go to the bottom altitude, descend with, right? It's 4,000 at Chum. This is the approach. If they clear you to descend via, I can put 4,000 in here now. Right? You know that. Since we don't have a controller, let's pretend. And we don't have the ATIS just yet. Anybody want to cut and paste the ATIS into... oh, I just lost the chat. Hold on 1 second. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I know, Benchy. There's full ATC. Yeah, Leo, I hear you, buddy. Yeah, I guess it's not as easy. I mean, even PMDG, the great ones, seem to be having trouble getting it ready for Microsoft Flight Sim. I guess it's just awfully hard engineering-wise, software engineering-wise, to get that ready. Benchy says there's full ATC in Paris and Stuttgart. Yeah, buddy. You and I talked on Discord maybe about going to someplace like that. In retrospect, what I should have done probably, but I wanted to do this for Logan. And he asked me a couple of times. In retrospect, what I should have done is probably gone where you're talking about, or gone to VAT Spy and found a place with departure and arrival fully staffed. Of course, over in Europe, it's a few hours ahead of us, so they're up and awake. This is a bad hour to do it. Unfortunately, streaming in the U.S., for me, I'm a morning hours guy because of my marriage, and still being a husband, I gotta kind of get it done during certain hours. The U.S. isn't really up and running until nighttime. Fly Sky, do you think they were released their 787? Nick did not tell me anything like that. He just said, "quote It's a very long, arduous slog." So I don't know. They are working on it though, 100%. Why they're not going on and talking to you on their blog, I don't know. Benchy, can we go over the meter for Miami? It's very long, and I really understand like 50% of this. Yeah, Miami, winds 080, 15, gusts to 21, 10 miles, light rain, scattered 2,000, broken to 2,500, overcast 4,600, temperature 24, dew point 21, altimeter 3013. So we could preset in the airplane 3013. We preset that so that when we click it, thank you for providing the ATIS guy. And in here, I preset 3013 down here so that when we come out of standard at 18, the correct altimeter is set. So 3013 is set. Remarks. Rain began at 30 after. 30 after. That was 5 minutes ago. Hold on 1 second. 13:53. That's an old ATIS. That's really ATIS. But rain began at 30 after the hour. Yeah. That's NOTAM stuff here. Let me see. 24. I don't know, but I don't know what SLP 203 means. Don't know. And +1 deviation. I don't know. Sorry. That's okay, bud. Hopefully it will come up on the frequency. But if not, you and I, we have a plan. We're going to land 8 right. We already briefed it. Briefed our approach landing. Actually, we never did finish briefing the approach. Let me do that. ILS to 8 right. Unsupervised, we're going to go into 8 right. We always go through in the... I transfer control to the pilot monitoring while I brief the approach. So your aircraft, he says my aircraft. That's Bob, right? Bob, silent Bob. It's page 11-221, August 20. We make sure we're on the same approach. I can't tell you how many times, especially after a long night of flying, we are on the wrong approach. It used to be huge because before iPads, a lot of guys didn't get the correct revision. They lost it in your chance your date, your pages will be out of date. 1103092. Now I go through here. This auto-tunes your ILS frequency. I check it. 1089. Okay, so ILS 8 right. And there you have it. Case in point. 1103092. So I was briefing one thing and had a different thing in the box. 1103092, lawn at 1500. And I look down here. Lawn at 1500, Cobra at 3000. Lawn at 1500, Cobra at 3000. Going down to decision altitude of 450. That's 442 feet. You know, those altitudes used to be much higher. I think they must have some construction going on at Miami. They've raised that decision height by 200 feet. 450 is very high on an ILS, but hang on a minute. I must be getting tired because what was that? 450. 450 is set. Okay. This is a good briefing because I've caught a couple of things, right, that I screwed up. We have the visibility. We're category D 300, 5,000 RVR 1 mile. Don't know what we have yet. The newest ATIS, yeah, thanks, buddy. But apart from quality wings, this is from Leo. Working title. I'm going to write that down. Working title. Working title is making a huge avionics overhaul for the default 787 and 747. Well, that would be huge. Huge, because those aircraft are not anywhere near study level. They're okay, but nowhere study. That would be great, Leo, if that happened. But anyway, I digress. So going down to decision height of 450. Missed approach is in the box. I always check it, guys. Another way to double check. It's over to Barbara and hold at 3,000. Barbara and hold 3,000. I also check Pappy. We got Mausers and Pappies. Pappies are on the left. And check the NOTAMs at this point, and we check landing distances. I'll plan on with landing distances standard assessment. If you have over an 8,000 foot runway dry, you don't have to do a landing assessment. We have both of those, but it'd be around 4,200 feet at this weight. Gross weight, we'll use flaps 30. I like flaps 30 on the 300. I don't know why. It's a little flatter pitch deck, and we're below max landing weight of 540, and we're at 137, and I'll use auto brakes 3. And we talked about the landing. The landing is 8 right, big wide runway, tendency to flare high. Landing clear at Mike 9, contact ground. We're going to be with, we'll go up beyond tower, contact ground, going spot 7 for D30, and we would contact Miami ramp in there in the real world. Be short, real quick taxi. Flaps get that APU started right away for a short taxi into Miami. Some companies don't have you start the APU. They give ground power a chance to be connected. But if it's hot in Miami, you can't shut down your engines really until conditioned air is on there. People will be overheated in a hurry. So I tend to start the APU. And here we go. So we hit the path. We're on the path. We're descending and going down to 4. I don't know, Benchy, should we make an announcement here? I don't usually call on VATSIM out of 38 descending on the Bluefish arrival for runway 8 right. I heard one guy told me that he types in that you should always type in here. Maybe I'll do it. Let's see. KMIA Bluefish. Zero 08 right. I don't know. I'll just put it up there. That way at least I did something. I don't think that's necessary. But he does all his communications over that. Okay, that sounds good, Benchy. I'll do that. Yeah, Miami traffic, American 320 heavy is making approach into Miami on the Bluefish arrival. Going to plan on landing runway 8 right. All right, that's done. Ha, I didn't send anything on VPilot for me. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I'm not a very good wingman, huh? Interesting, guys. Let's see. Want to make sure this power comes back and maintains. I don't like what the auto throttles are doing here. It's supposed to be maintaining the path and adjusting the auto throttles, and it was getting slow. So let me see. I've got it into detent here. I have hostis throttles. See if it does it well. But anyway, I'm going to let it fly itself all the way in on LNAV, VNAV. Unless Miami comes on the air, and they haven't. Oh, you couldn't hear me on Unicom. Maybe I changed it. 22.8. Oh. Yeah, American 320 heavy is descending on the Bluefish arrival for Miami runway 08 right, Miami traffic. You hear that one? I was getting a transmit signal up there. I'm new to this stuff, guys, so the guys who watch me or communicate with me. Yeah, they didn't hear me. Oh, Benchy, I heard you a little bit. Very faint. Maybe, I don't know. What's this? Ready? Make sure I'm transmitting on Unicom. Oh. In Miami traffic, American 320 heavies on the Bluefish arrival for 8 right, sending out a 30 for 4,000. Yeah, I was, thanks, Vinci. I was, I had, you probably heard me that time, right? Benchy, can you hear me? All right. FMC message. It might want drag. Yep. And the reason it wants that, guys, is because it can't maintain the speed and the path. It's giving priority to the path, and it's getting a little hot. I don't care. So yeah, you could blindly pull some drag out there, but as long as that's a good speed, 320. As long as it's maintaining the path, that's all I care about. So I'm not going to pop any speed brakes just yet, even though it's telling me drag. And it's just because it's trying to, you know, what's funny is it didn't go to idle power to try to control its airspeed. So I think I might have a little issue with the VNAV. Well, might have to control the airspeed manually. So that should help. It won't need drag. Let me take this out of there. The throttles didn't go to idle. So before we would ever ask for idle drag, it would bring the power all the way to idle. If it's still at idle power, couldn't maintain the airspeed and the path, it might help you. Nice. Thanks, Benchy. We're back. What am I going to do when I don't fly with you, buddy? It's like got a little mini-me flying around. Say, hey, Jeff, don't say that. Don't. That's what my wife does anyway, but don't say that, say this. Oh, why did you say that? You really embarrassed me at the party. You should really not have that third drink ever. You really shouldn't have the first drink, to be honest with you. I may never go to a party with you again. Your suit makes you look fat. That's where I draw the line. Logan, I've been talking about you, buddy. We're doing JFK to Miami, finally, for you. It's a little long. I'm tap dancing a little bit, bud. But I'm flying with Benchy. He's right behind me. And we're doing a little formation trip into Miami with on VATSIM, but nobody's there. But it's for you. I was doing it for you. I've been waiting for you to come on, Logan. We started cold dock airplane. My sim crashed. Then I did a real cold dock airplane. And then Benchy decided to come with me. He's right behind me. And we've been flying along, telling stories, chit-chatting. Got all the regulars here. It's kind of a long stream. I think we've had fun, though. I've had fun. Yeah, Freaky, you know what I'm talking about, right? You're married. Yeah, you know, brother. Yeah, Logan, well, it's my fault because if I'm going to stream, Benchy's been doing the Discord for me. Guys, if you join the Discord, it's not really doing a lot just yet, but we're trying to build it up a little. Benchy's doing that for me. Benchy lives in Denmark. He's 16 years old and an aviation enthusiast that wants to be a pilot, and he's been helping me out immeasurably. He's quite a guy. He's moderating over on the Discord to get it going for me. It's like taking his grandfather through the process, you can imagine. But anyway, I should be posting things. He tried to get me to do it, and I didn't do it. Yeah, so Bench, I can hear you talking. I can't really hear a lot there. I think you're talking on SATCOM anyway. Still no ATIS coming up on the Miami frequency. Let me try recycling this. At least we'd have something, right? Oh, sorry, buddy. Sorry, Benchy. Yeah, I had it real low. I couldn't hear anything. You know, the cockpit's pretty noisy. Oh, look it. I'm getting the Miami ticker. Okay. See what this is. 1848 Zulu, so that's current. Wind 080, so the ending east. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Light rain. Sky condition 2,000 scattered, 2,500 broken. Temperature 24, dew point 21. Altimeter 3013. We've got that preset. ILS 8 right, ILS 8 left. So Benchy and I are going to do the ILS 8 right and go to our respective gates. All right, so what was that ATIS information? We don't have to worry about what the information was. All right, out of 18, I make my PA to the people. Get all my lights on. Check one more time. No VATSIM active. So right now, how are we doing? We're getting a little high as it slows down. I'm watching that path right there. We're still in path. That's a good sign. Might have to help it a little bit. But it's hanging in there. No, it's hanging in there. Information Sierra. So I'm going to put Sierra just in case some controller pops up. New center just popped up. MTEG. I don't believe that has anything to do with us. All right, altimeters. 3013. 3013. We cross-check. And guys, we would do the descent checklist. We got the recall. I tell you, I always do that. Recall. No messages. Notes. Notes are, if you had done any non-normal procedure, there might be some notes for things to consider as you make your arrival. Auto brakes, we're on 3. Landing data standard, we talked about that. We did the approach briefing. Descent check is complete. And altimeters on the approach, 3013, and that's cross-check. Oh, wow. What happened there? That was weird. That scared me. Thought we were going to have to call it a day. All right, that's Kennedy Ramp over here. Normally we would, in real life, what is this thing doing? I'll come back. I'll set this. Real life we would have guard set over here, so I'll put guard in. Yeah, the truth is, Miami obviously in here would start slowing us down, speeding us up. Not vectoring though. They usually have you fly this whole arrival. And like I said, when you get up on downwind, we're going to come up here and make a right-hand turn. It is an idle speed brake descent. A lot of times they hold you up really high. Logan, you've been flying the 777 MAX. Is that over on Microsoft Flight Simulator? Yeah, the PMDG. Yeah, that's. I only flew that one trip, the last leg on the that I was on the 7.3 back in like 2018. We had just gotten them. Yankee, Miami. Okay. All right. Thanks, man. I've even tried to make it as simple as possible for you. You have, buddy. The only time you had any success getting me through the Discord is when you took over my page for me, when I gave you, and you just watched me and you did it. Yeah, I'm sorry. You may want to go find someone else to help. I really appreciate everything you do, but I am a burden. I am. My son's a software engineer, so when he left the house and finally went off to college, Papa Bear was lost. That's why I got a Mac. Yeah. Yeah, I love those, Logan, I love those PMDG 7.3s. And I love this 777. And we've been talking before you got here about when it comes over, I'll be definitely, absolutely, 100% over there on Microsoft Flight Simulator. They want me to put more drag out. I can give it a little. I just can't see where it needs much. It's having trouble maintaining 250, so I'll just meter it. All right, the approach is briefs. The arrival's briefed, the taxi's briefed. We got the weather. Benchy and I are going to go to La Coretta, get some Cuban food before I go home. I owe him lunch, maybe some cafe con leche before he flies back to Denmark. And I'm going to go walk the dog and get to my honey-do list. So I've been away from home for a few days. Speed brake extended out because it's level off. Okay. I'll arm that. Maybe won't need it anymore. Oh, I fly. Okay. I will check it out. When I retire, I have to, 7.3 is similar to the 7.3 and the 777-200, I think, came out in the same year. And a lot of the concepts, the human factors parts of it is similar. Of course, we got all the toggle switches instead of push buttons because of Southwest, right, Freaky? It's their fault. But that one, you can almost fly both of them at the same time because the mechanics of the flight panel and even the overhead and the FMC are almost identical. So what I'm watching, guys, here is keeping it in path, watching the RNAV A&P, make sure we're staying there, watching the airspeed. Anytime you're flying a VNAV approach or arrival, you're flying with it. It's like you almost have, you don't trust it. It's almost like a brand new pilot, student pilot, where the instructor keeps the hands ready. You kind of need to do the same thing with the VNAV, LNAV. It's outstanding on the Boeing products, but you got to watch it. You do have to watch it. A lot of times it's operator error, operator misprogramming, but sometimes the temperature changes, dew point, they change an airspeed. You got to stay on it. Yeah, Leo, the 7.3 is got a lot of manual stuff. Fairly automated airplane at the max level and the 737-800 level. But yeah, you got to be on your game. You know, those airplanes do so many takeoffs and landing. Feels like a fighter. When you're in the cockpit, you kind of get used to the airplane. 777, if you fly it a lot, yeah, but you never really, it doesn't fit like a glove like the narrow bodies do when you're doing a lot more takeoffs and landings. Every landing, you feel a little stiff. Just the truth. Just keeping it real, as you guys say. No, Benchy, I have not. I've flown over Copenhagen about 400 times on my way across North Atlantic with like Scottish or Reykjavik, but no, I have never been into Copenhagen. My sons, however, in the Army do dip Copenhagen tobacco, if that's any consolation. Not much anymore. They've got this like less nicotine one, thank God. But no, I haven't been to Copenhagen. I understand Denmark's a beautiful country. People are great, and the city of Copenhagen is fantastic, but I have not flown there. That's sad. It is. There's a lot of there's places I haven't been. My airline has never flown to Copenhagen, to the best of my knowledge. And it was kind of funny.
Pull up the track with JetBlue 1217, time off, final 10 right.
We're just gonna, Benchy, we're just gonna let it fly the whole arrival into a downwind, all right? We'll do radar vectors somewhere outside of Cobra. There's actually one other point could put in there. Chrome. Could stick that in the flight plan. Way to do that would be, though it's not on the arrival, we could go Chrome, Krome. Close this up. And Chrome's in there, so when we do our base leg, we have it a little further extended for situational awareness. Yeah, Miami is funny. They will absolutely have you do this, but somewhere in the whole arrival ground track, somewhere in here, they'll stop your descent at 8 and see how it continues on down, and then they'll get a beam to field and just, or 10, and just dump you on down and dump you on in. That's kind of how they fly. But in this case today, they're letting us fly the entire arrival down to 4,000 at Chum, which is over here. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, slam dunks at Miami. So it comes in here, it flies this whole arrival. Somewhere in there, they'll say they'll just level you at 8. When you get a beam to field, remember here you'll be down around 6. Right about in here, they'll just slam dunk you, and you'll be idle speed brakes, or maybe flaps 5 to get on down. Cabin ready means the flight attendants are ready. Shaquille Oatmeal, when you bid your trips, what is your first few picks? I explained this earlier. Everybody's got something different. Some guys like the layovers. I'm 64. I'm done with layovers. I like long haul, 3 trips to the airport. The most dangerous thing I do is to drive to the airport on the I-95 corridor between Connecticut and New York. If anyone has drove there, you know what I mean. So I fly long haul trips. I fly 3 trips a month. I fly New Delhi, usually twice, and maybe Tel Aviv or Doha in there. Those are 32 and 27-hour trips respectively. The idea is that those would be my first few picks. Over the years, when we didn't have those super long haul things, I did a lot of Milan, Rome, Paris, London. On the 7.5, a lot of Birmingham, Manchester, Dublin, Edinburgh. So with my seniority at different, I do fly, Benchy, the ultra long hauls at the moment because it's less trip to the airport, and the most dangerous thing I do is driving to the airport. That's why I do it. Layovers are nothing to write home about because you're tired. We don't do much, but I've kind of done everything I need to do. Yeah, Logan, I'm glad you made it here, buddy. So we've had a nice time. Just did a lot of talking, a lot of interaction. I'm going to put in 270 because that's the heading I'm going to give myself. 280, 270 like that, 275. Once I hit Chrome, once I hit Chubb, when I get up here, I'll have that ready to go. Yeah. Shaquille, well, not necessarily. If you want them on the weekdays, you got to be senior, which of course I am at this stage. But if you can get them on the weekends and not be quite as senior. But yes, they tend to. Obviously, I've been around a long time. I get pretty senior trips. It's having trouble maintaining its airspeed. I'm going to tweak out the speed brakes a little bit. Just trying to keep it below 250 here. Yeah, you got to be pretty senior. So I've alternated between being senior and not so senior, depending on what equipment you're on. You can go from the number 1 guy as a co-pilot to, I'll arm that again. Speed brake is armed. Number guy is an FO to the bottom guy on the 777 captain. So you can go number 1 guy on the 737 and become the bottom guy on the 777. I don't know why we're vibrating here. Guess it's some simulated turbulence. Okay, nobody's here to give us vectors, so Benji, I'm going to go down to 3. So American 320 heavy Miami approach to center maintain 3000. Center maintain 3000 American 320 heavy. All right, Benchy, I'm going to go, and American 320 heavy, fly heading 275, expect the ILS 8 right. 275 on the heading, we'll expect 8 right for American 320 heavy. So guys, I'm going to extend now. Off of Chrome. I could just extend off Cobra. To do that, you go departure arrival, Cobra. How does that look? Good. Extend it. And Cobra is what? 10 miles out from the airport. So at Cobra, I'm going to give myself some room out here. I do have active sky on. No, we're not doing shared cockpit, Logan. We're just Benchy. He's the guy running my Discord. He just decided to fly formation with me. It's been kind of cool. I've enjoyed it. He's basically my mini me. He's been behind me trying to keep me out of trouble. Not easy. He didn't tell me that I didn't have my flaps out yet, though, freaky. He was right behind me. Yeah, Benchy's in at 7.3. You won't know it by my display because I'm going to get flaps 1. Because I don't have a proper aircraft identification program set up. Benchy, I'm going to bring it back to 220. All right, American 320 Heavy. Turn left. Heading 190. Left 190 or 180, American 320 Heavy. Left 180. And there we are, 20 miles out, so we got a ways to go. I'll go to 10 here. Yeah, Logan, I would like to do the shortcut.
Kilometer is 15 miles south of land, expecting runway 09.
And Miami traffic, American 320 Heavy, 777, 300 is on a left base for runway 8 right. Should be touching down in 5 minutes. Yeah, I saw Logan. I saw the one of those shared cockpits. It's hysterical. Somebody sent me a video of them having all sorts of issues with the shared cockpits. First I had seen of that. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Do you ever have young FOs? I'm in the most senior airplane. The youngest FOs I have are early 40s, so not really young FOs. No. Matter of fact, now the youngest FOs that make it to the majors tend to be 25, 26. They're on the narrow bodies. Left downwind. I'm on a left base for runway 8 right. And so American 320 Heavy, turn left heading 100. On that heading, you are clear for the ILS to 8 right. Make that heading 120. Left 120. On that heading, clear for the ILS 8 right for American 320 Heavy. I'm going to arm the ILS guys. Oh, I already went to low capture. Here we go. Start bringing the speed back a little bit. A little more flaps. Flap speeds are over here. You know, guys know that, right? So 245. Next one is 230. And we're below 230. We'll be able to go flaps 15, whatever we want. Cobra's only 4 miles out and 1,500 feet, so I'll be fully configured on speed by Cobra. We can go flaps 15, speed below 230, flaps 15. Spoilers are armed. Let's do the before landing checklist. That's that one. And American 320 Heavy, Boeing 777-300 on final, 9-mile final for 8 right, Miami. All right, let's get the speed back to 180 or so. Yeah, sorry, Benchy. I thought I was on a left downwind. Runway in sight. Eight right. Short taxiing, guys. Try to get off at M9.
Miami traffic, American
Gear down.
185.
Flaps 20. Here, Benchy's right behind me. Yes, I did put the wrong flaps down. And now when I get below, when the gear is down fully, which is when this grid goes away, I can go flaps. I can go all the way to 30 on the flaps. And I'm going to set final approach speed.
3000 sir.
Here, my guy behind me. 142 on the speed.
Yeah, I've been working on the E-pilot.
That's it. In Miami traffic, American 320 heavies over Copra for 8 right, Miami. All right, so what's our spazzing out here? Our misapproach altitude's 3,000. 3,000 is set. We're good. Clear to land. Lights are all on. Clear to land. There's no ground. I don't see anything on the V-pilot. So here we go. I'm not kidding when I say take off my slippers, guys. I'm in the basement. It's cold down here. Oh no. I just hit. I cannot believe I did that.
2500.
Benchy, I just hit Toga. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to fly visual on in. So guys, I hit Toga instead of auto throttles off. I should just use the auto throttle switch. So I'm just going to hand fly here. And the way you reset this, I've done it before, guys. That's why everyone's laughing at me. If you go these flight directors off, flight directors on, and hit approach, you'll get your guidance back. What a dumbass. So now we're auto throttles off. 142 is our speed.
Miami traffic, American 45.
And there we go. Just hand fly it in. Autopilot auto throttles off. I can almost hear Freaky laughing over the thing. Yes. I knew it. I didn't even have to look. So I got to get up to the glide path. At least you get to see me fly autopilot auto throttles off. Let's get up here and get on it. I know. You know what? I'm just going to use the silly yoke switch. Guys, what it is I have to hit right click on the mouse twice, and I hit left click, and I did the stupid go around. The thing I did right this time is I turned off the auto throttle arm switch in order to get it to work. Let's get out here where we can see, right? A little high, coming down. I see my guy Benchy's touching down. That's cutting, Benchy. That's cutting in line. Ah, beautiful. He went to 1-2 for me. Thanks, buddy. Is that you?
Plus 100.
I'm just flying this speed, guys.
Minimums.
Obviously showing red over red, but it's showing me high on the glide slope, but that's all right. Yeah, it's showing red over red, but the glide slope's saying I'm high. Kind of funky. Just doing it visually. Looks like it's been raining here.
30, 20, 10,
Trying to see if I can see 9. I should probably get off the runway. I saw that guy waiting for me. And American 320 Heavy is clearing at Miami traffic, clearing runway 8 right. Let's go down here. Let's see if we can find spot 9. Might be off to our right. Right now we'll be contacting ground, Miami ground, American 320 Heavies on the ground for Delta 20. American 320, you're cleared in, contact ramp. Cleared in, contact ramp, American 320. Miami ramp, American 320. We're clear of 8 right, taxiing to Delta 30. Yeah, you're cleared in spot 7 for gate Delta 30 for American 920. Spot 7, Delta 30, American 920. Hold on, guys. Let's stop here. It says Delta 27. And taxi. Gates. 27's off to the left, so it means we got to go off to the right.
14. Correction, 15. Line up and wait. 8 right.
Miami traffic, clear on Minneapolis, go around at runway 9.
Miami traffic, American 45, will capture the ILS runway AS right. Traffic.
Looks like Delta 30 here. Let's just go in here, guys, because that says 37. This says 29. Let's park in here. Should be 30. Lights are all on. We'll turn those off when we get there. Most important thing, we get the flaps up. Speed brakes are retracted.
Traffic JetBlue, runway 2, runway 8, right, vacated, saying 2,000 feet.
All right, brakes are parked. Seatbelt sign is off. APU, we got to get started. Let's make sure the brakes are parked. Seatbelt sign's off. You can chop the right one. We'll wait on the left one to get started. Let's go flight sims action, ground connection. On chocks, ground power. Chocks inhibit. I guess you have to put the chocks in before they let you put in any kind of ground power, huh? Interesting. All right, so then we'll go menu, this, ground connections, ground power request. See if you can match. File time is landing, Vinci. Yeah. Cool. All right, so right to run the checklist here in a second. Let's see, we got the speed brake levers are not up, so up. Let's get the lights out. We're waiting on the APU to start. These we could have got.
American 485, 105, 105,
We got to leave the beacons running because we still have engines running. APU's running. Chop the left one. Parking checklist, please. Bob? Brakes parked. Seatbelt signs off. APU's running. Engines are shut down. I do my flow here. Let's get the external power on. I'm going to leave the APU running for the air because it's hot out until everyone's off the plane. Unless they put in conditioned air. Trying to turn it off, guys. Sorry you had to see that. And then we do wax off, left to right, counterclockwise, fuel pumps off, engines are wound down, beacons are off, checklist. And this guy's doing, the flight directors are off. Hey, it's raining. Flight directors are off. Speed brake lever, that's all done too, so that's all done. There's Benchy's in. I'm going to stay a good wingman, right? I'm going to wait for him. Parking checklist. Benchy says he's landing. I think I caught him. Lost him. I don't see you, brother. Maybe he's over here. Trying, guys. Here he is. It's not the correct airplane, though. I know you were in, what, a 737 or something? But anyway, guys, all right. That was cool. Had a lot of good talks, a lot of good time to talk to you guys. We're parked D30. I think Benchy's coming into, why is that going there? He's coming in here at D28 if you can fit. D28, I think he's over here. Yeah, I don't have an aircraft identification dealie. Here he is. Benchy, we're watching you, brother. So, guys, if you don't subscribe, if you wouldn't mind, that'd be great. Thanks for all your help and all your support. I'm going to wait here till my friend gets in here. Benchy has been nice enough to set up a Discord for me. He's the moderator over there at Discord. Don't have to worry about telling guys what the rules are in the flight sim world. You guys are a breeding by yourself. A bunch of really smart, really kind people. I love being here. I may never make a dime doing this. I don't really care. I don't need the money. What I need is the camaraderie. It's a lot of fun. Whether it's a 16-year-old Denmark guy like Benchy, aspiring to be a pilot, or an old guy like me that just, there's a bunch of us that have contacted me, thoroughly enjoying this interaction. I'm so appreciative of you guys. It's a blast. Yeah, I hit the toga switch again. So the mouse, the way that works on the PMDG. I'm going to watch Benchy park here. Is he's pulling into 28, right? His brief. The 29, it's fine. The toga switch. Left click on the mouse is toga. Center click is auto throttles. Right click is autopilot. And the reason Freaky D is laughing is I did it on my last live stream, and it went crazy, and I lost all control of flight controls. I had a moment there where my heart sunk. I thought, oh my God, it's going to happen again. I turned the auto throttle paddles off and then reset everything. So it was a good exercise on how to reset everything. Bad exercise in how to hit it. Normally, the autopilot, you use the yoke switch to turn it off. I was trying to do the sim thing. I know, Freaky. I know, brother. Hey, yeah, anytime, buddy. That was fun, Dawa and Dawal and Kumar. Sorry about my phonics. Benchy, you kidding me? Get in there, buddy. Park that bad boy. Don't. Now remember, guys, I don't have one of those aircraft identification, so Benchy's airplane's actually way the heck up here. Yeah, I think he said he was in a 7.3. Oh, this could be epic. Oh, Benchy, that would have been epic. Oh, darn it. Okay, he made it. All right, brothers. Nice job, Benchy. I appreciate your help, too. He caught about 8 errors. I caught about 5. 13 errors. Typical flight for Father Time. Yeah. Benchy said, yeah, but you wanted me to hurry. There you go. And you're the best, guys. And really enjoyed it. I'm going to sign off because I got things to do. Benchy, I'll meet you at La Coretta inside. If you go to the right, it's right there. I'm going to buy you Cuban food, brother, and get you a nice cafe con leche before you fly back to Denmark. So I'll see you there. Benchy hit toga at the gate. He learned from the best. He learned from the best. All right, Freaky D, let me know, bud, what the deal is. Oh, Benchy's gone. Benchy's gone. He's had it with me. All right, guys. Thanks for taking care of me. I hope I'm taking care of you guys too. I really, really appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get going and go be a husband, and a father and all that stuff. So, you guys are the best. Thanks a lot, and don't forget to